Hello and welcome back to another Football Commentaries live stream. It is Champions League Tuesday and we are here to oversee the matchup between reigning Europa League champions Sevilla and Premier League title chasing Arsenal. Despite only being in October, Sevilla have already had a change of head coach. Former Uruguay manager Diego Alonso has taken over from Jose Luis Mendilibar after his first game. Diego Alonso, he picked up a 1-1 draw at the weekend at home to Real Madrid, who have been rampant so far this season with a certain Jude Bellingham in their midfield. And now, in his first ever Champions League game as head coach, Alonso will hope to get Sevilla their first win of this season's Champions League. For Arsenal and Arteta, a rather lacklustre performance at Stamford Bridge, they were still able to manage to get a 2-2 draw with goals from Rice and Trossard. And after a loss in their last Champions League game away from home against Lens, Arsenal could do with the 3 points to bring more certainty of reaching the knockout stages of this prestigious competition. So, for Arsenal and Sevilla's third meeting in their history, which side will take the big step forward towards qualification out of the group stage? Arsenal obviously slipping up at Lens in their last Champions League game does open the door for the other teams in their group. Obviously, they've got Lens, Sevilla, and PSV. PSV are bottom on 1 point. Sevilla are third with 2 points. Arsenal are second with 3 points after their opening game week win at home to PSV. And Lens are top with 4 points after their win against Arsenal and their draw against Sevilla. So, it's a really open group. You know, if Arsenal lose tonight, Sevilla would go above them on 5 points. Arsenal would stay with 3 points. Lens is already above them on 4. It's a very wide open group that could go either way depending on results tonight. So even though we're only in the third game of the group stage, it could really set momentum for the remaining games for these teams. And Sevilla in Europe are a very strong team. They have started with 2 draws. Their first one was a home draw to Lens. They took the lead in the 9th minute with a Campos, but then the first half equaliser meant that stayed as a stalemate. And the same with their first away game of this group stages, where they went to PSV and they drew 2-2. They took the lead in the 68th minute through centre-back Goodell, and then they were pegged back in the 86th minute through a De Jong penalty, and then got back in front in the 87th minute, a minute later through En-Nesyri, and then slipped up and lost the 3 points, and ended up only gaining 1 after a Teze 95th minute equaliser for PSV. So they haven't been too bad in the Champions League, Sevilla. They haven't been great in the league to start the season. They are 13th so far, with 9 points out of 9, with 2 wins, 4 draws, and 4 losses. I believe. Make sure that's right. No, 2 wins, 3 draws, and 4 losses. So, and they have got 9 points out of 9, but 2 wins, 3 draws, and 4 losses for Sevilla. Like I mentioned before, they've already had a change of head coach. They have brought in former Uruguay head coach Diego Alonso, who did take Uruguay to the World Cup in last December in Qatar, but they fell short at the group stage. He actually got a good record as Uruguay head coach Diego Alonso. He was head coach there from January of 2022 and then left in the February of this year. He coached 12 games, 8 wins, 2 draws and 2 losses, but unfortunately, at the World Cup, they just weren't quite good enough and were knocked out in the group stage section of the tournament. But he comes in only his second game, and for their new head coach, it is his first ever job in Europe. He's never managed a side in Europe before now with Sevilla. He was formerly of Inter Miami head coach from December 2019 to January 2021. So he has worked under David Beckham at Inter Miami, but it's his first European job. We're just under 6 minutes till kick-off. I'll go through both sides now in a little bit more detail. They are on screen, but I'll give you some more stats on each player as we are closing down kick-off. As last season's Europa League winners face Arsenal, who were runners-up in the Premier League last season. It's their first season back in the Champions League since the 2016-2017 season. And let's go through both sides. We'll start with the home side. And Orjan Nyland starts in goal. He has played all 5 of the last league games, and he's started 1 Champions League game, and that was their last one against Sevilla away from home. Back 4 of Jesus Navas, who's 37, and alongside him to his left will be Sergio Ramos, who is also aged 37. Left centre half is going to be Nemanja Gudel, 31 years of old, the Serbian international, and at left back is going to be Marcos Acuna, who ended up picking up 4 red cards last season, one of them in the Europa League semi-final second leg against Juventus. Midfield 3 of Boubakary Samari, who was joined on loan with an option to buy from Leicester, and he is going to be partnered alongside another new signing, Djibril Sow, who was signed for €10 million from Frankfurt, and I think just in front of them, or maybe as a midfield 3, is going to be former Barcelona man Ivan Rakitic, who is looking to score his 50th Sevilla goal tonight. On the right is going to be, or on the left, it depends how they set up, but on the wings are going to be Lucas Ocampos and Dodi Lukebakio, a Belgian winger signed in the summer transfer window from Hertha Berlin for €10 million, and up front is going to be the Moroccan Youssef En Nassiri. Got 3 goals so far this season in La Liga. He's got 1 in the Champions League in their last game against Sevilla, and also scored to put Sevilla ahead in the Super Cup fixture they had at the start of the season against Manchester City, but obviously went on to lose. And their bench is down below. For Arsenal, it's going to be David Raya to continue in goal. It's his 8th appearance of the season. In his previous 7, he has kept 4 clean sheets, and he has featured from the start in both of Arsenal's Champions League fixtures. Back 4 of Ben White, who has featured in every single game so far this season for Arsenal. The only game he hasn't started was against Lens in their away defeat last time out. William Saliba and Gabriel continue as the 2 centre-backs, as left-back is the only change from the weekend, where Tomiyasu comes in for Zinchenko. Midfield 3 of Declan Rice and Jorginho, who will be supporting Martin Ødegaard, who's also one of not many to feature in every single game so far this season for Arsenal. And a front 3 of Bukayo Saka, who's got the 1 Champions League goal, and that came in the opener against PSV. Gabriel Martinelli on the left, who is making his first ever Champions League appearance in his career, and to lead the line is going to be Gabriel Jesus. Just the 1 goal so far in the Premier League, and that came against Manchester United, but has scored in his first 2 games for Arsenal in the Champions League against PSV and Lens. And if he scores tonight, he will become only the 2nd player for Arsenal to ever score in their first 3 Champions League games. The only other player to do that was Marouane Chamakh in the 2010-2011 season. So some little record, not record to beat because it's already been set by Chamakh, but to join the history books, Jesus could be one of only 2 players to have scored in his first 3 Champions League games for Arsenal. During this game, we'll be keeping up to date with the other Champions League fixtures, especially the Lens PSV game, the other game in this group. And we'll also be keeping up to date with the other games, as well as we've got the likes of Union Berlin against Napoli, Braga, Real Madrid, Benfica, Real Sociedad, Manchester United, Copenhagen as well. As we've had early kickoffs where Galatasaray were beaten 3-1 at home to Bayern Munich, and Inter Milan just scraped through against RB Salzburg to win that 1-2-1 at San Siro. As we are closing in on kickoff at the Roman Sanchez Pizjuan Stadium, it looks absolutely rocking. It'll be some atmosphere here in Seville. It's a ground that can hold just under 44,000. Did host the Europa League final back in 2022 between Rangers and Frankfurt. It is 2 teams who want to progress, like all, into the knockout stages of the Champions League, even though Sevilla in their league, like last season, Sevilla finished 12th, a pretty poor performance in the league season, but through winning the Champions League, through winning the Europa League, for the 7th time, most any club's ever won before. It means they get into the Champions League, and they've started off with 2 draws, not too bad, not too good. It's a win would really make that start look really good for Sevilla, but if they lose again, it's no wins and their first 3. But they're not out of the group. They sit 3rd, a point behind Arsenal, who are with a win and a loss. But I think the thing to mention about this Arsenal side is, it's not a lot of Champions League experience. Previous, Jorginho has, Ødegaard slightly, not really though. Made a couple of appearances for Real Madrid back in 2020. bar that, Jesus up front as well. So there's only 2 or 3 of them in the starting 11 that have got really good European Champions League experience. And I think that really set in when they played Lens. Maybe taking it a little bit for granted, maybe thinking it was easier than it was going to be. And they paid the price for that, and they fell to a defeat. And if Lens wins tonight against PSV, they go on 7 points. And it means that Arsenal really could do with the 3 points tonight. And it's not against an easy opponent. 7 Europa Leagues, 1 UEFA Super Cup back in 2006 when they beat Barcelona 3-0 in Monaco when Messi, Ronaldinho, Xavi and Eto'o plays. So this Sevilla team, recent, have good European experience through winning the Europa League, and in the past, they've won 7, they've won the Super Cup before. It's going to be a really challenging night for Arsenal. That's basically what I'm trying to get home to you guys, that on paper Arsenal will fancy it, but they can't underestimate the Sevilla side, especially at home. As Arsenal will kick off, kicking left to right, it'll be Sevilla kicking right to left. Arsenal in their away green strip, Sevilla in their all white, as the ball's been played back to David Raya. He'll send it to the Arsenal left-hand side, where Rice will challenge Goodell for it. He'll drop to Tomiyasu, heads forward here to Martinelli. Rice complete to 1-2, back to Martinelli towards the corner flag on the far side. Tries to take on Jesus Navas, can't quite do so. And the former Manchester City right back will clear off Gabriel Martinelli for a throw-in for the home side, right in that next to that corner flag on the far side. And there is Diego Alonso, the new head coach of Sevilla. Took charge of his first game at the weekend, which was a 1-1 draw to Real Madrid in a game which they took the lead in for a David Alaba own goal in the 74th minute, but then were pegged back to 1-1 through Dani Carvajal, and that's how it ended at the weekend. Both teams playing at 5:30 as well on Saturday in the weekend, as it will be Sevilla to have this throw-in deep inside their own half here, just under a minute in, and we have yet to have any chances really early on, as it is Jesus Navas, the all-time Sevilla appearance maker. If I'm right, I couldn't quite find a definitive stat, but he'll play, this should be his 662nd game for Sevilla. Was obviously at the club before moving to Manchester City earlier on in his career. As they've got it out to Acuna at left back on halfway for Sevilla. Back to Sergio Ramos, who's back where it started. Was firstly at Sevilla from 96 to 05, before leaving for Real Madrid, where he went on to win 4 Champions Leagues and 5 La Ligas. And he's returned to Sevilla, rejecting offers from the Saudi League, as it's Sevilla to play out from the back. It's with Nemanja Goodell, the centre-back, just in front of his 18-yard box. Goes back to Orjan Nyland, who only a couple of years ago was backup keeper at some English clubs. He was at Aston Villa for 2 years and spent 8 months at Norwich and then a further couple of months at Bournemouth. And now he's a starter for Sevilla. Took the place of usually number 1 Marko Dimitrovic, the Norwegian goalkeeper. As it's still with Sevilla in their own half, with Acuna at left back on this near side. Down the line it goes towards Campos, gets it back to Acuna. Last touch came off Acuna last, so it'll be a throw-in for Ben White in front of the technical areas there, just towards the halfway line. As it will be Ben White to take this throw-in. A man who hasn't been called up for England since his departure at the World Cup. Obviously a slight issue he has with Gareth Southgate, or maybe integrating himself into the England squad, but good thing for Arsenal, means he's nice and fresh after international breaks, as his throw-in is headed on by Jesus, comes off Sergio Ramos, and it'll be a throw-in for Ben White to take midway inside the Sevilla half, still on this near side, with his new bleached white hair. Ben White, formerly of Brighton, as he throws it down the line. Look for Jesus again, goes over his and Sergio Ramos' head, and it will go out for a goal kick for Sevilla with Orjan Nyland. As going into this game, Sevilla do have only 1 win in their last 5, but 3 of them have been draws. Their last loss was away to Barcelona, where Sergio Ramos scored an own goal, unfortunately, in that one. As here he is, Sergio Ramos, left-footed, clearance up the field, beyond the halfway line, looking for En-Nesyri, header won by Saliba, and it's headed back by Jorginho towards the edge of the 18-yard box, and helped on once more with the head of Gabriel. It means that David Raya can come and collect with his 2 hands, and he rolls it out to the edge of the box to centre-back Gabriel. He made no starts in the Premier League in the first 3, but he's now started the last 6. He's played every minute so far in the Champions League, as Jorginho plays out wide right to Saka. 10 yards inside the Sevilla half. He tries to cut inside on his right foot, on his left foot, but it's been pushed over by Acuna, and it will be a free kick for Arsenal just inside Sevilla half here on the right-hand side. Got his work cut out tonight, Marcos Acuna having to come up with an answer to the quick feet of Bukayo Saka. His answer to that one was pushing him to the ground and conceding a free kick, as we are just over 4 minutes in. Yet to have a chance in this game so far for either team. As we are goalless in all the other games as well. It's Ben White with the free kick. Jesus comes short, but instead he sends it over the top and in behind into the box for Tomiyasu, who's made a run down the right wing. It's headed away by, I think that is Goodell. And it's going to be seen out for a throw-in for Arsenal in the final third. Not quite sure where Tomiyasu was going there, making that run up front, but from left back to striker, he's forced a throw in here deep inside the Sevilla half, which Arsenal will gladly accept. As Ben White takes that throw into Ødegaard on the byline, lifts it into the box, looking for Jesus. It drops for him, he tries to shoot, but he's stopped by Nemanja Goodell, and it'll be cleared away. Ozar Saliba helps it back forward to the edge of the box, headed away by Acuna on the Sevilla left. Can't be helped on by a Nisira, but he drops to a Campos, who volleys it in behind the Arsenal defence, looking for Luka Cabio. It's David Raya to collect. Luka Bacchio, their new right winger, Belgian, signed from Hertha Berlin last season. He got 11 goals in 32 Bundesliga appearances. The Belgian winger. Ball was a little bit too quick for him there, despite having some decent pace himself. Couldn't quite get there ahead of David Raya as the ball over the top for Arsenal. Send towards Martinelli. It's been just run out of pitch there. Throwing for Sevilla, midway inside their own half. Throwing by Navas to Samare. Back to Navas. Loses out to Declan Rice, who charges down the left-hand side like a left winger towards the byline. Slips it inside looking for Jesus. She's dealt with by Ramos. Kept alive by captain Ødegaard. And it's now Martinelli, who's tackled by Samare on the far side in the final third. And it'll be an Arsenal throw-in. Couple of Arsenal throw-ins here early on. It's Martinelli towards the corner flag. On his preferred right foot, trying to work space away from Navas. Plays it inside to Tomiyasu, who strikes himself. It's quite a venomous strike from the Japanese international, but just wide of the near post. I think it was covered there by Nyland, the goalkeeper, as well. But decent little run there from Tomiyasu as he took it on the turn away from Luki Bacchio. And he just dragged it wide, but it wasn't a bad strike. As Sevilla play out from the back with Nyland. It's now with Ramos in the left-back area. Back to Nyland in the 6-yard box for Sevilla. Pressed by Ødegaard. Has to clear up the field. It's not convincing. But he gets out to right-back Navas midway inside his own half. And he calmly plays it back to Goodell. Then inside to Samare. Back it goes to goalkeeper Nyland. Shifts it out quickly to the left to Sergio Ramos, who will drive forward. The former PSG and Real Madrid centre-back into a Campos on halfway. First time ball round the corner. Looking for an on-rushing Acuna, who will put Saliba under pressure. And he'll have to clear it out quickly for a throw-in on this near side, deep inside the Arsenal half. Good chasing there from Marcos Acuna, who was in the Argentina squad who won the World Cup. He came on in the final against France in the 64th minute as he throws it to a Campos. Can't get the return to Acuna, headed away by Saka. Also has Ramos, who goes to Goodell, just in front of the centre circle. From afar he strikes. What on earth is he doing? Not even joking. Nemanja Goodell from about 40, 50 yards out has had a strike. And obviously it's gone way over the crossbar and Arsenal have a goal kick. Has scored in the Champions League already, the centre-back Goodell. In their last game against PSV, he put them 1-0 up in the 68th minute, but ended up being a 2-2 draw after they conceded in the 95th minute of that game. And it's now out to Tomiyasu, midway inside his own half on the far side for Arsenal. Sends it forward. It's a curling ball. Looking for Jesus, and it will drop to the Brazilian. He's got Martinelli making a run in front of him. He'll feed it to him. Martinelli with the shot. It's well saved. Comes back off of Martinelli and out for a goal kick. That's too easy. Great ball forward from Tomiyasu to find Jesus just beyond the halfway line. And he was allowed to drive forward with it. Gabriel Jesus, well onside on the halfway line. And as he got the ball, Ramos backed off so he could feed it through to Martinelli. And from around 12 yards out, he tried to open up the body to send it to the bottom right corner. But Orjan Nyland came out big and strong, saved it, and it came back off the goalkeeper onto Martinelli's foot to go out for a Sevilla goal kick. That's the first big chance of the game 8 minutes in. Just a bit too easy there for Arsenal to get through. Jesus being very unselfish with the pass to Martinelli, and you usually expect Martinelli to do better with that. Just the one goal so far this season, and that came against Manchester City a couple of weeks ago. Took a big deflection, but they all count, especially in games against Manchester City. As it's with Sevilla on the ball, just under 9 minutes in. It's their goalkeeper Orjan Nyland, who's already been forced into action here. Left-footed low clearance right onto the halfway, cut out by Saliba, drops to Samare midway inside the Sevilla half. He dribbles out to the left-hand side, plays it down the line to Ocampos. His flick deflects off Ben White, and it will be a throw-in for Sevilla, taken quickly by Ocampos into Rakitic, who chests it down to Gibril. And it's now Gudel out to the right back Navas, who ventures into the Arsenal half here, midway inside it, goes down the line into the final third to Ivan Rakitic, who takes it away from Tomiyasu. He's got Sevilla, he's got Navas to the side of him, and you play it to him. He goes for a low cross to the near post. Campos flicks it towards the near post, and wide it goes. I think David Raya had that covered, but a little opening there for the Spanish side. Good low cross from Navas. We know he's a good deliverer of the ball. The 37-year-old played 49 times last season in all competitions, and even got himself back into the Spain reckoning. 49 appearances he's got for his country. He came off the bench against Scotland in their recent win in a European qualifier, which Spain have now qualified for next year in Germany. Edge of the box is Gabriel for Arsenal. One chance apiece. Arsenal's chance probably better quality. But it's David Raya. Long ball over the top, looking for Saka. He's just drifted inside. It's headed won by Ramos. And Gibril So's been forced back to Oyan Nyland. He'll be pressed by Ødegaard as the ball is bouncing back towards him, but he meets it cleanly with a big clearance down the right-hand side, looking for Luca Bacchio. He just backs off Tomiyasu, and the Japanese international just heads out for a Sevilla throw in here, just inside the Arsenal half. He throws it back into his own half to Jesus Navas. These two sides have only met twice before, and it came in the 2007-2008 Champions League group stage. The first game was a 3-0 win for Arsenal at home, where Fabregas, Van Persie and Eduardo scored. And then their returning game at this stadium in late November was 3-1 to Sevilla. Eduardo scored again for Arsenal to put them 1-0 up in the 11th minute, but then they went on and lost that 3-1. And it did mean that Sevilla finished top of the group that year. Arsenal finished second, just behind them. And Sevilla was knocked out in the last 16 to Fenerbahce, and Arsenal got to the quarterfinals but were beaten by Liverpool. As Martinelli has it here on the left-hand side in the final third, plays it to the edge of the box to Gabriel Jesus, takes it away from Samare, back to goal though, so he's been forced back 5 yards to Tomiyasu, then across to Jorginho, who's won the Champions League before with Chelsea. Gabriel back out left to Martinelli. Inside to Jesus, completes a 1-2. Martinelli driving inside. 1-2 with Jorginho. Good play here. Pokes it inside, looking for Ødegaard, but it's just been deflected away from him, and it's played out from Acuna, but picked up by Jorginho. It's now Declan Rice out to the right side to Ben White. He's got forward from fullback here. Goes back to Jorginho. He goes back to halfway once more for Arsenal to keep possession here with the number 6, Gabriel. Knocks it in front of him to Declan Rice, still on the halfway line for Arsenal. All Sevilla players currently sit behind the ball, as Arsenal, who currently sit third in the Premier League, are yet to be top of the league yet so far this season. They have not been at the top yet. Obviously, their bitter rivals Tottenham currently take the top spot in the Premier League after their win last night to Fulham at home, a fixture that Arsenal failed to win earlier on in the season. As it is, Tomiyasu on the left-hand side, try to slip it through to Jesus, who's picked up a left-wing position, but it's cut out by Navas. Long ball over the top, deep inside the Arsenal half on the Sevilla right. Be dealt with by Gabriel, who'll get there ahead of Rakitic, and he'll take it away from the Croatian. And in the left-back area, he'll go inside to Rice and gets the return. Then down the line, it goes to Tomiyasu, who has to go to his right to Jorginho, and he takes it under some good pressure and shifts it away from Ocampos, and Ben White takes no prisoners. The bouncing ball is headed back to David Raya. So Arsenal have possession comfortably in their 18-yard box. Rolled out to the edge of the box to centre-back Gabriel. And so far, Arsenal at home in the Premier League are yet to lose, and they're yet to lose in the Premier League overall. Their only loss this season came in their last Champions League game to Lens away, where they took a lead 1-0 through Jesus, but weren't able to keep that lead. Martinelli. Midway inside the Sevilla half on the far left-hand side. He's forced back to Tomiyasu, then once more towards the halfway line to Gabriel. It's now with number 2, William Saliba, as we've still had no goals in any other of the Champions League fixtures so far tonight. Next commentary coming up as well is on Thursday night. Brighton take on struggling Ajax. Should be a cracker at the Amex. As the ball in behind into the 18-yard box by Saliba. Tried to cut through the whole Sevilla team. It's just collected there by Nyland. He was looking for the run of Bukayo Saka, who did score on his Champions League debut in that 4-0 win for Arsenal against Sevilla. Scored in the 8th minute. Arsenal's first goal in their return to the Champions League is Ramos' ball chipped up towards Rakitic, cut out by Jorginho, and it's the throw in midway inside their own half here for Sevilla, who's only got one loss in their last 6, coming against Barcelona in Game 7. That's in La Liga. They were bottom of La Liga after 3 games, after losing their first 3 against Valencia, Almeria, and Girona. But they've picked up slightly since their change of manager, with that really impressive draw at home to Real Madrid at the weekend. As Djibril Sow wins a free kick just inside the Arsenal half on the left-hand side after going for an aerial battle with Bukayo Saka. Rakitic go back to Ramos on halfway. To Rakitic again. He's going to go for a switch towards the right side here. He's looking for Luka Bacchio. Can't quite find him. Cut out there by Martinelli. And it's on the edge of the Arsenal box. And Gabriel goes back into the 6-yard box with David Raya. Shifts it out towards Ben White. Short ball cut out by Rakitic. Heading forward to Ocampos on the edge of the 18-yard box here on the left-hand side for Sevilla. Tries to take on Ben White towards the byline. Cut out by White. Played back to Raya, who clears first time only as far as Ramos. Pokes it forward to Samare. Oh, takes it on Ødegaard and Rice. He shifts it out to the left here to Rakitic. Onto his right foot. It's a switch out. He's just sliced it a little bit there, and it's fell to Martinelli now, who will be tackled strongly by Boubakary Samare. And the foul will be given, I think, on Djibril Sow, actually, who pulled back Martinelli. The tackle from Samare was actually quite clean. But there was a little pullback there by Djibril Sow. Try to grab hold of his shirt. Quite a good tackle, I think, there from Samare. Got the ball. For me, did take out the man as well afterwards. That's fair to say. Still no goals in any of the other Champions League games. Wow. 16 minutes in. As Arsenal have it. Just inside their own half here with Jorginho on the edge of the centre circle inside their own half. It's now with Gabriel. Back it goes to Saliba. Interestingly enough, when Arsenal had their run in the Champions League, when they were in it, from 2010 to 2017, 7 times in a row, they were knocked out in the last 16 stage, which I just think is absolutely ridiculous. 2017, 2016, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11. All out in the last 16. The last time they weren't knocked out in the last 16 was in the 2009-2010 season when they were knocked out in the quarter-final stage. And the time before that was the semi-finals. But it's just interesting how they just could not get past that barrier of the last 16 when they were last in the competition. They've obviously had a little bit of time away from the Champions League, 6 years to be exact, where they've had a couple of campaigns in the Europa League, but no real success. As the ball is now with Sevilla in their 18-yard box with Sergio Ramos, forced to clear with his left foot. And out for a throw-in for Arsenal on the halfway line. Was forced to clear that quickly there, Ramos, after the press of Ødegaard, who would have been teammates for a little bit. Ødegaard and Ramos now playing against each other. But Ødegaard is Real Madrid's youngest ever appearance maker at 16 years of age, 5 months and 6 days. As it's cleared up the field for Arsenal. It's a header won by Acuna, brought down by Rakitic. It's now Djibril Sow. That's the far left-hand side to Ocampos on halfway. Back to Sow. It goes back to Ramos and forward into the centre circle to Samare. Sorry, Luka Bacchio. And now finds Gudel midway inside his own half here, the Sevilla centre half. It's now Ramos, number 4. Plays it out to the right now to Samare. Plays it forward to En-Nesyri. Bit of a misplaced ball. Poked away from him by Gabriel. But it'll fall to Navas at right back for Sevilla. And the Spanish side continue to have possession of the ball. Campos on halfway, being pressed by Saka, but gets it inside to Sergio Ramos. Switch out to the right-hand side to Luka Bacchio. Brings it down, 1-on-1 with Tomiyasu now in the final third. He's got Navas making the overlap. He'll feed it to the 37-year-old who'll cross it towards the far post where no one's there for Sevilla. He'll run right through to Saka in a right-back position, who will be dragged down there by Acuna. Definitely a foul. It'll be a free kick for the Gunners. Just a little bit too strong there, Acuna pulling back Bukayo Saka. Foul for me. Rightly given by tonight's referee, Glenn Nyberg, Swedish international. Became a professional referee in 2008, only 35 years of age. Tonight's referee. As just over 19 minutes in, we've had one chance for Arsenal and one for Sevilla, as Real Madrid have taken the lead against Braga. Rodrigo with the goal. There's a Campos midway inside his own half here on the near side. Goes back to Acuna, who gets the ball stuck under his feet, but he's able to shift it quickly enough. But he's now being pressured by Saka towards his own goal here. Acuna turns and gets the tackle from Saka and wins the throw-in for his side there. Well won by Marcos Acuna, who's in today. For Adria Pedrosa, who joined on a free from Espanyol. Another left-back Sevilla have got. But they've gone for Acuna tonight. Throwing down the line. Header won by Ben White. Inside towards Rice, who will flick it on towards Jesus. He'll chest it down, brought down by Gibril So, but the referee sees nothing wrong with it. But Arsenal have possession anyway on halfway. So play can continue with Arsenal on the ball with Gabriel in the centre circle. Being pressed by Rakitic, shifts it out to the left to Martinelli. He's just about 15 yards inside the Sevilla half, so still a bit of work to do for Arsenal to try and get in the box of the opposition. Gabriel. Across he goes to number 2, William Saliba, who'd have 3 loan spells in France before making his way into the Arsenal first team with Saint Etienne, Nice and Marseille to get to the semi-finals of the Conference League with Marseille back in the 21-2022 season. William Saliba, as Arsenal have been forced all the way back into their 18-yard box here with David Raya, who's making his first ever European campaign this season as they play out from the back and he loses it. Campos zips it in towards Luki Bacchio, but he just can't control it on the penalty spot, collected by David Raya, who's been spared his blushes with that poor pass. And Arsenal survive. Quick thinking from Campos to try and zip it into Luka Bacchio, but it had height and pace and the Belgian just couldn't quite control it well enough to keep it away from David Raya on the penalty spot. And Arsenal break. Martinelli on the left, 1-on-1 with Navas in the final third, wanting to enter the box. He pulls it on the edge of the box to Rice, who can't quite shift for a shot, so works it back out to Martinelli, who's running towards the corner flag here. Muscles Jesus Navas off of the ball. Tomiyasu 1-2 looking for Martinelli, who made a run into the box towards the 6-yard box, but it's taken away by Sergio Ramos, who chops past Martinelli. But he's a bit stuck here in the corner flag, needs some help, needs to clear, turns, clears off Martinelli, then back off Ramos, and it'll be a throw for Arsenal, right next to the corner flag on the far side. Good pressure there from Martinelli to force the error from Sergio Ramos. Tomiyasu. Gabriel back forward down the line to Martinelli. Bit of space. Low cross. Jesus with the shot. It must deflect wide. Oh, I think he's just miscued it there, Gabriel Jesus. Well work from the throw in there. And the ball inside by Martinelli. Oh yeah, he's just miscued it completely. On the left side of the box on the angle. Try to bend it towards the far top right corner. Just got under it there, Gabriel Jesus. But that Raya misplaced pass to Jorginho on the edge of the box, fell through to Campos. And from around 25 yards out, he played a lifted ball towards Luka Bacchio, but just couldn't quite control as Jorginho headed by Rice into the path of Erdegaard on the edge of the box, cut out by Sevilla and cleared by Acuna. Last touch off of Campos, thrown for Ben White. Deep inside the Sevilla half here on the near side as Arsenal want to try and take the lead here. Thrown towards the box to Jesus. Won by Goodell. Cleared here by Campos off the hand of an Arsenal player. Free kick for Sevilla to just relax them a little bit. As it'll be Orjan Nyland to take this free kick for Sevilla just on the edge of the 18-yard box. So Sevilla have to build from the back, and he'll go to Sergio Ramos, who now finds Orjan Nyland. Lifted ball right on halfway to En-Nesyri, does nod it down into Gibril So, but the play will be pulled back there for a free kick on En-Nesyri, who was caught in the face as he won that header by Gabriel. Yeah, just a bit of a hand in the face there by Gabriel. Free kick for Sevilla, won by Moroccan En-Nesyri. He's got a good Champions League record, the Moroccan striker. 16 appearances in the competition, 9 goals. He got 6 in 8 in the 2020-2021 season. He only got 2 in 4 last season in the Champions League, and he's already got 1 so far this season, so he's got a good record ending this series in this competition, as Ocampos has it now for Sevilla on the left-hand side. Running away from Bukayo Saka in the final third. He's got his back to the Arsenal goal, so just lays it off into Sergio Ramos, who's got forward from centre-half. Across it goes to the right to Gudel, who finds Navas on the far right-hand side for Sevilla, midway inside the Arsenal half. Plays a ball around the corner here to Luca Bacchio. And we reached out with Ramos, out to the left this time to Acuna. 10-yard pass backwards to Ramos. Across he goes to Samare. Forward here. And out to the left to Rakitic. And then back once more to Ramos, who sees a switch out to the right-hand side. It's Jesus Navas. And it'll be cut out by the head of Tomiyasu. And it will be met by Gudel to get there ahead of Gabriel Jesus on the Sevilla right. That's Luca Bacchio. Back to Samare. All Arsenal players behind the ball here. As Samare sprays it out to the left, and he finds Acuna, who brings it down nicely. Lifted ball into the 18-yard box, volleyed away by Saliba. It'll be met by the head of Samare, who nods it back out to Acuna, who restarts completely on the halfway line with Ramos. Plays it into the path of Samare, on loan from Leicester for the season. Relegated last year. The former Lille midfielder Samare won Ligue 1 with Lille before joining Leicester City. And it's now Sevilla being forced back into their own half here to keep possession. Good pressing here from Arsenal. As it's back with their goalkeeper on the edge of the 18-yard box, Nyland. To the left to Ramos. Forced back again to Orjan Nyland, whose only other previous Champions League experience before this season came in 4 Champions League qualifying appearances in the 2013-2014 season with Molde. So we've not got much experience, the 33-year-old goalkeeper in this competition, as Luca Bacchio loses out for Sevilla. Played through to Rice on the edge of the 18-yard box, tackled by Gudel, but he bounces back to the former West Ham midfielder. Rice pulls back, looking for the likes of Jesus and Martinelli, but it's cut out by Gudel, and it'll be a throw-in for Arsenal, deep inside the Sevilla half. Tomiyasu to take this throw-in. He's got Rice towards him. We've got Martinelli standing on the corner flag on the far side. Still looking for an option. Goes to Jesus towards the byline. The last touch comes off Nemanja Gudel. And it'll be a corner kick for Arsenal. I believe that is the first of the game. I could be wrong, but I believe that's the first corner of the game. And it will be the first corner of the game. And it goes to Arsenal. Still only the one other goal in the Champions League, and that's for Real Madrid away at Braga. So Martinelli to take on the far side. It'll be a right-footed in-swinger. Jesus and Ben White are stood right on the goalkeeper. There's 4 Arsenal players at the far post. Likes of Gabriel, Tomiyasu, Rice and Saliba. Martinelli, low short ball to Jesus. Back into Martinelli, goes behind the Brazilian. And it would be a goal kick for Sevilla. A wasted set piece there from Arsenal. Tried to take one from the training ground, but the Jesus pass back into Martinelli was just behind him, so he couldn't keep it in to charge down the byline. As it's pouring in Seville tonight. New head coach Diego Alonso's got the big waterproof coat on, a bit like Arsene Wenger used to when he was once Arsenal manager. As Sevilla have it on the edge of the 18-yard box with Gudel. Across it goes to Ramos, who's playing on the left side of the back 4. I mean, in terms of the 2 centre-backs. As Nyland, the goalkeeper, spreads it out to the right to Jesus Navas. Back to face towards his own goal, so goes backwards towards Samare. Then to Nyland again. Forward pass, really nice pass by Jibril So, who's allowed to turn forward and play out to the left to the halfway line to Acuna. Has to go back inside to his right to Jibril So. Then forward he goes now to the right to Luca Bacchio. Charging away from Jorginho, edge of the box, tries to play it to the left to Ocampos, deflects off Jorginho and then cleared away by Gabriel. Drops in the end to Saka, 1-2 with Gabriel Jesus, and Saka's charging on the right-hand side. Big chance here for Arsenal in the final third. Saka tried to take on his left foot, blocked in the end by Rakitic. Good link up there with Jesus. As Arsenal win the throw on the halfway line, Ocampos tried to take on White, but the last touch came off Ocampos. Saka trying to let fly from the edge of the box there with his left foot, but it was a good block in the end by Ivan Rakitic, who's a Champions League winner himself back in 2015. In his 6-year stay at Barcelona, that's where he won it. It's his 94th Champions League appearance, 10 goals, 6 for Barcelona, and 4 for Sevilla, because he was at Sevilla from 2011 to 2014, winning 1 Europa League in that time, and then another one since returning last season. As Arsenal have it inside their own half with Saliba out to the left back area to Gabriel. Goes inside to Jorginho in the centre circle. Ball forward to Ødegaard. Jesus, Jorginho curling it out wide right to Ben White, but he'll let Bukayo Saka take the ball. Just 10 yards inside the Sevilla half, so quite the way back for Arsenal. Bit of build-up work to do for the Gunners. As Arteta, he's taking charge of his 193rd game for Arsenal, as Ben White's curling ball into the 18-yard box looking for Saka. Just avoided the winger, but it wasn't too far away for the Arsenal number 7. Definitely went through to the hands of a very... don't know the word, but very thankful Nyland, who didn't have to face another shot from an Arsenal winger, as his clearance up the field looking for En-Nesyri in the centre circle has gone right through to Saliba, who go back to Raya, who play a very calm pass out to the left centre half, Gabriel, who will charge forward from the edge of the 18-yard box. It's over half an hour in. Arsenal with the big chance through Martinelli in the 8th minute, but it was well saved by Orjan Nyland. Sevilla have had a half chance themselves with a Campos at the near post, but it wasn't really anything dangerous. As it's now Jesus Navas taking the ball away from Rice, who just got forward for Arsenal towards the edge of the 18-yard box. Jesus, though, plays it out to the right now to Luca Bacchio. Twisting, turning on Tomiyasu. Goes back to Navas, halfway inside his own half. Where he goes up towards En-Nesyri, who just pulled out to the Sevilla right, but it's cut out well there by William Saliba. So it'll be a throw-in for Sevilla, which they've already taken, and they've been forced all the way back to their own goalkeeper, Orjan Nyland. We made the 3 appearances last season. Orjan Nyland, when he was at RB Leipzig, the team he joined from in the summer. So, lack of football last year for Nyland, but he's making his 7th appearance tonight, in between the 6th for Sevilla. As it's Samari playing it to the right to Goodell, as Sevilla break into the Arsenal half with a switch to the left, cut out by the chest though of Bukayo Saka, and he goes to Ødegaard, lays it off to Jorginho. Back forward through to Ødegaard, passes the halfway line, got Saka to his right and he'll play it to Bukayo Saka, whose touch is poor, and it allows the challenge from Ocampos. And Sevilla have it back. Good defensive work there by Ocampos. Saka stayed down. Definitely a fair challenge from Ocampos. And play will be stopped here. Sevilla just stop the play, relax the ball, so Saka can be given medical attention. Just poor touch on the inside of him there, Saka. Try to get it more onto his left foot, and it allowed Ocampos to get across him and just barge him off the ball. It's a fair challenge for me. I'm not saying it wouldn't have hurt, having a 6'2" Argentine go right through the side of you, but it was through his own poor touch there, Bukayo Saka, why he had to be brought down like that. Still 0-0 around the other grounds, bar Braga, Real Madrid, where it's Real Madrid 1. Up away at Braga. Saka stayed down. It's a problem with his left leg. As I mentioned just before, if you didn't hear, next commentary on this channel is Brighton against Ajax on Thursday night, 8 o'clock from the Amex. And then the next commentary after that is Monday night. We're back into the Championship, where it will be, I believe it's Coventry West Brom. Yeah, Coventry West Brom on the 30th of October. So still 2 more commentaries to come, Thursday and Monday. But we've currently got this one. Saka is back to his feet. You might remember a run of his that ended recently, where he had played 87 successive Premier League games. That ended after he missed the Manchester City game. So he's usually reliable to have at your disposal, Bukayo Saka, but he's just hobbling off the field here after that barge from Lucas Ocampos. Still just hobbling off the field here, Bukayo Saka. They have got the likes of Reece Nelson, Fabio Vieira, Smith Rowe, Trossard, and Nketiah. Havertz to come on, so they haven't got bad depth. Arsenal, if they need to make the change, Saka has come back on. The ball's been dropped for Sevilla, so they can continue with the ball inside their own half. As Saka will just see how he's feeling, maybe give it a bit of movement, a bit of running. As Sevilla still have it midway inside their own half, we're with Nemanja Gudel, the Serbian centre-half, who signed a contract extension in June of this year till 2026. As Ramos plays it forward and Rakitic takes it on the turn and he's pulled down there by Declan Rice, and it'll be a free kick for Sevilla, midway inside their own half. Cynical there from £105 million man, Declan Rice. Ramos out to right centre-half Gudel, right on halfway, passes the halfway line, still charging down the Sevilla right here. Got Navas forward, and he'll try and find Navas, but it's cut out there by Martinelli. It will be a throw-in for Jesus Navas on the far side. In the final third, throws it towards En-Nesyri, cut out by Jorginho, hooked over his head by Martinelli. All as far as Nemanja Gudel. Goes to Navas, ball inside to Samare, takes it away from Declan Rice. It's now Rakitic, 30 yards away from goal, pokes it forward to Ocampos. Left foot, fakes the shot, dinks it into the box, looking for Rakitic over just behind him, and it'll be swept up and collected by David Raya. Being a little bit too intricate there, Lucas Ocampos, former Monaco and AC Milan player. David Raya plays to the right to Saliba, charges in front of his 18-yard box and goes across to his left to Declan Rice, who won European silverware last year with West Ham in the Conference League. Did reach the semi-final as well of the Europa League in 2022, where on the way to the semi-final they beat Sevilla. So a team he's played before, home and away, for Declan Rice. As here he's on the ball on the halfway line. Out to the left it goes to Martinelli. Midway side, the Sevilla half on the far side. He's been chased down here by Luka Bacchio, who he takes on the outside. And goes back onto his right foot and goes back 15 yards here to Gabriel. Then just on the edge of the centre circle is William Saliba, who will go out to the right here to Ben White. Sees a switch out to the left in the final third, looking for Martinelli. Header won by Navas. It will drop to Luka Bacchio, who heads it inside the Gibril So. Now with Navas in the right back position, clears it up to halfway, looking for En-Nesyri. Header won by Saliba. It will drop to So. Tackled by Declan Rice from behind, and Saliba will take over. Chance here for Arsenal. Martinelli charging down the left. Will keep it in, will it? Towards the byline. He just runs out of play. He runs out of pitch. Goal kick for Sevilla. Couldn't quite keep it in there. Just a bit of a heavy ball from William Saliba. Get it forward from centre-back. Oyan Nyland's over it, and he'll spray it out to the left to Rakitic, who will take the touch with his hand. But play continues. Definitely came off his hand there. But it's now with Ocampos. Ball inside to Rakitic. Tried to play it back towards Ocampos, charging down the left-hand side. It's swept up by Saliba. He goes back to Raya, who will then play it back out to Saliba in a right-back position. Inside to Jorginho. Across to the left to Rice. As the space starts to open up. Ball through in between the lines now for Tomiyasu. Passing the halfway line and passing the ball to Martinelli on the left. One-on-one with Navas. Playing it back onto his right foot and across to Tomiyasu. It's now Jorginho around 40 yards away from goal. He plays it out to the right now to Ødegaard. He's got Saka and White to his right. He'll play it to White just behind him, so has to just play the ball back himself here to Saka. Ball forward to White. Back to Saka again. It's a bit of a heavy ball, so he's been forced back here, Saka. He pokes it to the halfway line to Saliba. Looking for options. Still got Saka to his right. Plays it forward to Ødegaard, who then plays it to Saka, who's furthest right for Arsenal. Back he goes to William Saliba again. Switch to the left. It's a short one. Header won by Navas. Nods it down to Luka Bacchio. Just inside the Sevilla half. He passes the halfway line, charging down the right. He's got a bit of a turn of pace here, the Belgian. As he's been chased down here by Tomiyasu. Towards the byline. Low ball across the box, and it's had to be dealt with by Ben White. And then it's a free kick, I think, there for Sevilla. As the ball was cleared there by White. Gibril So has been knocked out clean by Gabriel Martinelli, and I think there's blood. Let's have a look again here. No, is it blood? I don't know. I think he's just been cleared out here, Gibril So. As the low ball was put in, right across the 18-yard box, Ben White cleared towards the Arsenal left, and So just got there ahead of Martinelli, who just went into the back of him, just nudged into the back of him, and conceded a foul and a free kick for Sevilla on the edge of the box on the right side. It's a bit too far over to the right, I think, for a shot. I think he'll definitely be better placed for a cross, as Djibril So stays down here, the former Frankfurt man who won the Europa League on this ground with Frankfurt in 2022 against Rangers. As Martinelli's also stayed down after the contact with Djibril So. Both players have come off injured. Again, still goalless around the grounds, bar Real Madrid. Very quiet night in the Champions League. That's Arteta. He's already got 3 honours to his name as Arsenal manager. An FA Cup in 2020 and then 2 Community Shields, beating Manchester City and Liverpool. Most recently, Manchester City, after a 101st minute equaliser from Leandro Trossard. And they then won 4-1 on penalties. Martinelli is also hobbling off now. We had Saka hobbling off before. He seems to have worked off his little knock. But now Martinelli, after the contact with So, despite giving away the free kick, is just hobbling off. Djibril So, I think, is also back on his feet as well. The Swiss midfielder. So both Martinelli and So on the sidelines. As Rakitic will put this ball into the box. It will be a cross straight into the hands of David Raya on the edge of the 6-yard box, and he rolls it out quickly to Jesus, who will beat Samare to it. He'll charge down the right-hand side into the Sevilla half. He's still charging to Jesus, and he's tackled by Samare fairly. Throwing for Arsenal midway inside the Sevilla half on this near side. Good running, though, from Jesus. Always willing to put the hard yards in, the Brazilian striker. He's got only the 11 goals last season. Missed 15 games with a knee injury. Didn't score in the international break, despite playing in both games for Brazil. Got a great record in the Champions League, Gabriel Jesus. 40 games previous from tonight, 22 goals, 20 of them for Manchester City. As the throwing down the line goes towards Jesus, he's been pulled down there by Ramos, but the referee sees it as too soft, and the ball will trickle out for a goal kick, as we are 4 minutes away from half-time here. It's still Sevilla 0, Arsenal 0. In Group B. Campos on halfway, on this near side, back towards the Arsenal goal, so being forced to play back to Acuna. Now Ramos, 10 yards in front of the 18-yard box, goes out to the right now to Nemanja Gudel, right on the edge of the 18-yard box as Arsenal press up forward. Nyland to the left to Ramos in the corner of the box. Forward it goes to Rakitic, flicks it round Ben White into the path of En-Nesyri, who will get there ahead of Saliba. Been brought down by Saliba, free kick for Sevilla. Following him all the way there, Saliba on En-Nesyri. And here is Djibril So, who seems to have just worked off any pain that he picked up from that Martinelli foul a couple of minutes ago. Still midway inside their own half here with Gudel. Forced back to their goalkeeper here, Nyland. He's now with Sergio Ramos. He's been pressed here by Ødegaard, so again forced back to the goalkeeper again. He wants more movement, Sergio Ramos, as Orjan Nyland just shifts it out to the right to Navas, chests it down beautifully just inside his own half here, and he drives inside and plays a switch out to the left to Acuna, who nods it into the path of Ramos and lifts it over the head of Saka to get it back into the path of Acuna, who will now drive forward past the halfway line, and he wants to switch it. He'll go for it, and it'll be Tomiyasu to head away for Arsenal. Up towards halfway to Jesus, who nods it back to Rice. To Martinelli, who goes inside to Jorginho, then back to the edge of the 18-yard box to Gabriel. Now Raya plays to the right side of the 18-yard box to Saliba. Uses Rice to get it out to White at right back. Good play from Arsenal. Now inside to Jorginho. Back to Saliba. It's now a White at right back. Saliba receives it back again on the edge of the 18-yard box. Goes down the right to Ben White. Takes it in his stride and then tries to play a ball inside towards Saka. Cut out by Ramos. And it's now with Acuna at left back. Ramos forward to So. Samare keeps the ball moving despite being pressured there by Jesus. It's now Boubakary Samare out to Navas. Goes down the line looking for Luca Bacchio. Cut out by Tomiyasu. And the clearance has been kept in for Sevilla. Back down the line to Samare. Getting away from Jesus and playing it back here to So. Out to the left. Tomiyasu. He's got the ball moving despite being pressured there by Jesus. It's now Boubakary Samare. Out to Navas. Goes down the line looking for Luca Bacchio. Cut out by Tomiyasu. And the clearance has been kept in for Sevilla. Back down the line to Samare. Getting away from Jesus and playing it back here to So. to Acuna. All Arsenal players here behind the ball as Ramos has got it in the centre circle for Sevilla. Forward to Samare and gets the return immediately. And then to centre-back partner Nemanja Gudel. Goes to right-back Navas on halfway. As we are entering the 45th minute of the first half. It is still 0-0. One big chance for Arsenal through Gabriel Martinelli. Luca Bacchio on the right-hand side for Sevilla. On the corner of the box. Being stepped up here by Martinelli. Gets it to So, though, on the edge of the box. Then back out to the right to Jesus Navas. Everything to his left here. One-on-one with Tomiyasu. Navas tries to shape up for the cross. Going on his left foot. Back on his right foot. Twisting, turning, getting the cross in. I think he may have took a deflection. Took the sting out of it. And then into the hands of David Raya at the near post. And then Raya rolls it out to Saliba, who's in the 18-yard box here for Arsenal. Plays it forward to Jorginho, beating the first press of Sevilla. It's now Rice looking out left. Won't play it yet, and he will do now just beyond the halfway line to Tomiyasu. Furthest left here is Gabriel Jesus. We've got 4 minutes of additional time here at the end of this first half, which is lacks big chances. Jorginho in the centre circle. Back he goes to the halfway line here to Gabriel. Drive forward 10 yards, and then forced to go backwards now again to William Saliba, whose back injury at the end of last season spoiled Arsenal's season, really. Couldn't quite see it over the line in the league and then was knocked out in the game he got injured in against Sporting Lisbon in the Europa League last 16. As Ramos is next off Arsenal. And out left to Ocampos. Ball through into the gap to En-Nesyri. Enters the box. Left foot. Strikes across goal. And that's a big chance. Drags it a couple of yards wide, though, the Moroccan. Should have done a lot better. He's clinical in this competition, En-Nesyri. 9 in his last 16 in the competition. But it's really well won there by Sergio Ramos. Passing the halfway line, got it out to the left to Ocampos, who drove inside away from Ben White and got it through the gap of White and Jorginho to find the run of En-Nesyri. And as he took the touch into the box, he was being chased by Tomiyasu, but was still allowed to get the shot away. As he aimed to the far post, it was just always dragging wide there by En-Nesyri. But positive play there from Sevilla to nick the ball off Arsenal in the midfield area and break as well as they did. Next time, they just need that clinical finishing touch to put them 1-0 up. But that's definitely Sevilla's first big chance of the game, for sure. Goal kick up by Raya, won by Gudel. Headed forward to the halfway line, but it's cleared away by Gabriel. To Saka, who brings it down midway inside the Sevilla half, but he brought it down with the use of the hand. And it'll be a throw-in. It'll be a free kick, for Sevilla, midway inside their own half. It's Gudel on the ball. 2 minutes played of the 4 added on here at the Roman Sanchez Pizjuan Stadium. As still 0-0 around the other ground. It's crazy. No goals tonight in the Champions League, other than the Real Madrid game away at Braga. It's Nyland playing it forward to Samare. Back in the 18-yard box for Sevilla. With Nyland, left-footed, clears up the field, up towards halfway, where Ocampos will challenge White for it, but White wins the header. Nodded back forward by Rakitic into the path of Acuna. Gets the return and plays it inside towards Ocampos, who beats White to it. And nutmegs Saka. Chance here for Ocampos, bearing down on goal. He's got Acuna to the left in the final third. He'll play it to the Argentine. Lifts a ball in towards the back post. It'll go right through. Bounces to Luca Cabio, who will get the crossing himself towards the edge of the 6-yard box, but it's cleared by Gabriel. And it fell to Jesus. Chops and plays it through to Martinelli. What a ball. One Brazilian to another. Martinelli around the goalkeeper. And Arsenal take the lead. Right on half-time. Martinelli breaks the deadlock. It's silky skills from Gabriel Jesus, who then had the composure to slip the ball through to Gabriel Martinelli. And as he was going through on goal, he was calm, composed, went around the goalkeeper and into an open net. He gives the Gunners the lead. It's devastating for Sevilla, 30 seconds before the break. But Arsenal fans won't care, because their two main attacking Brazilians link up to strike away from home in the Champions League. And when he's not scoring in this competition, Gabriel Jesus, he's providing assists. The clearance went to Gabriel Jesus and a little Cruyff turn. He got away from Goodell and Samare. And he fed it through to Gabriel Martinelli, who just couldn't be stopped. Ramos tried to chase him, got away from him, went around the goalkeeper. And as Ramos was backtracking towards his own goal, he got nowhere near blocking the shot. And in the ball went, rolled in. And at half-time, which the whistle has just gone, it is Sevilla 0, Arsenal 1. That is real skill and class from Gabriel Jesus, showing why he is such a top-class player and why he is a 4-time Premier League champion, Gabriel Jesus. 1-0 at the break. We'll have to see it again once the adverts have finished, because that is a bit of skill you want to see over and over again. It was well cleared by Gabriel because Sevilla were getting forward there, and it was a dangerous ball from Luca Bacchio. And as it was just coming down from the sky, midway inside his own half, Jesus brought it down, and Cruyff turned past Goodell and Samare, and then slotted that ball through him behind, and Martinelli did the rest, and it's 1-0 at half-time. A game that has lacked big chances. Arsenal haven't had the majority of the possession. It's been Sevilla with 53% of it, but Sevilla had 3 shots, 0 on target. Arsenal have had 5 shots, 2 on target. And the 2 shots on target have come from Martinelli. Martinelli had Arsenal's last big chance, which was in the 8th minute, where he was bearing down on goal, but that time he tried to slot it into the bottom right corner, but it was stopped by Nyland, who came out to close out the angle. And right before half time, Nyland's come out again to try and close down the angle, but he's gone round him instead and slotted the ball home calmly. And on his Champions League debut, must I say as well, Martinelli scores. He's missed Arsenal's previous 2 Champions League games through injury, so that's a delight for him that he scored on his Champions League debut. And it's Gabriel Jesus who provided the assist. And at half-time, very quick job for me, every other game is 0-0, bar this one, where Arsenal have took the lead right on half-time, and Braga are trailing 1-0 at home to Real Madrid. Bar that, United is still drawing 0-0 at home to Copenhagen. The other game in this group, Lens PSV, is also still 0-0 as well. Got some championship games going on as well, which we'll run through the scorelines of them as well, if there's any goals. Next commentary on the channel as well, Brighton Ajax on Thursday night in the Europa League. Again, Brighton need to win after losing their first one at home to AEK Athens and then drawing the next one away at Marseille, who are also a team that have had to change manager early on in the season. So, Championship, have we got any goals? I know Leicester are playing. I think Sunderland, so a bit of a big fixture there in the Championship. As we'll have a look. Let's see. So Swansea Watford 0-0. These are all games around the 50th minute. Swansea Watford 0-0. Millwall Blackburn 1-1. Middlesbrough lead 1-0 away Norwich. Cardiff lead Huddersfield 3-0 at half time. No goals for Aaron Ramsey, who's not in the squad tonight for Cardiff. But they lead Huddersfield 3-0, who are currently managed by Darren Moore, who was previously at Sheffield Wednesday. League leaders Leicester at home do lead Sunderland 1-0. James Justin. So Leicester's lead at the top now grows to 8. But Ipswich do have 2 games in hand on them. So Ipswich could always catch back up. But it does look like it's Leicester's league to lose. And I doubt they will lose it. And then West Brom QPR 42 minutes in. And that is 0-0 at the Hawthorns. So few goals in the Championship, barely any in the Champions League. Pretty boring so far in the other games, it looks like. But just a dagger, really, to the Sevilla Hearts, who were doing okay on the ball, Sevilla, but they hadn't really created anything. They had a half chance with a Campos, thinking around the 20th minute or so, something like that. But bar that, they didn't really create anything. So you could say Arsenal deserved the lead, despite not having as much possession, but they definitely had the better chances. But it's just the skill by Jesus to Cruyff turn and then play the ball through in such defence-splitting manner to find Martinelli for his first Champions League goal on his first Champions League appearance. It just shows the better quality Arsenal have got on Sevilla. And it does put them on 6 points, Arsenal. They'll be top of the group, one behind Lens if they draw with PSV, which they are currently doing at half-time, 0-0. The second half will be getting back underway in around 8 or so minutes' time as Blackburn take the lead at Millwall away. Callum Britton with the goal. Quality player, Callum Britton. We've commented on Blackburn twice this season against Watford away and Leicester at home. And despite getting beat 4-1 against Leicester at home, Callum Britton is a player. I like him a lot. So they lead. Managerless with Millwall as well. Millwall got rid of Gary Rowett in the week, I believe, after a slow start. But so good. Martinelli, bottom right corner. I mean, he had the whole goal to aim at, but Jesus, midway inside his own half. Oh, just the Cruyff turn to take it away from the two Sevilla players. Then play it through in between Ramos and Acuna to find Martinelli, who then had the class and the skill and the quality to round the goalkeeper and find the back of the net. Proper goal that from Arsenal. The goal itself deserves to give them the lead at half-time, and that is something they do have. Going into the second 45 minutes. But not many chances to really highlight, to be honest, at half-time. Like I say, Martinelli had a chance in the 8th minute where he played through one-on-one with the goalkeeper, but that was saved quite well. And Nasiri did have a shot dragged wide before half-time, but it was a couple yards wide. In fairness, wasn't a shot on target as well. That's something Sevilla could do with having a shot on target. That might help their cause of trying to win this game, but they now trail to third place Arsenal, or third place in the Premier League. Arsenal currently sit top of the group with Sevilla in third. Sorry, just had an intruder. But just watching the half-time analysis and they're not analysing much kind of shows you a lack of what was going on in the game. Like I say, Martinelli early chance. And then the goal. I mean, again, the end of the series shot wide was an half chance before half-time, but would have helped if he'd got it on target. But the main talking point is the goal, and rightly so it's the main talking point because it's a really good goal on the counter-attack from Arsenal. And catching out, really, a ageing Sevilla defence. You know, their goalkeeper's 33, Jesus Navas and Ramos are 37, Nemanja Gudel's 31, and the left-back's 31 as well. So it's quite an old defence, really. So if you can catch them with the pace, which Arsenal have got with Saka, Jesus and Martinelli, you can cause this Sevilla defence problems for sure. But they did draw to Real Madrid at the weekend, Sevilla, so they obviously believe that they'll be able to turn this around. They did take the lead, though, against Real Madrid, at the weekend, 74th minute, Alaba own goal. But No, I had an intruder then, taking the mick out of my pronunciations of some of these players. Don't even know which one she was on about. I couldn't even make out which one. But yeah, being mocked for trying to pronunciate these foreign names. Some of them, honestly, like obviously because I do work for the games, like I do notes for the games, so all these stats you hear, they're not me being a weirdo keeping them all locked in my head. They are written down in front of me. But some of the time I take on some names. Obviously not tonight. They're all pretty decent. So if for some reason I've been struggling with Luca Bacchio, which shouldn't be as hard as it is because I've literally got it written down syllable by syllable, Luki Bacchio. But we're all right tonight. Not hard, not difficult names to pronounce. So we're all good with that. But yeah, sometimes, some games, you're just thinking, who is that? How do you even say that name? But we get there in the end. As the second half is just 3 or so minutes away. And if any games trail over in added on time, we will just go over to that game and I'll give you some commentary on that. Even though I might not know all the players well, I'll give to say if this game ends early and United are 0-0 and they've still got a couple minutes left, we'll just switch over and have a quick watch of their game. But Arsenal have a lead. They want to defend. They were obviously 2-0 down the weekend. They went 1-0 down in the 15th minute to a Cole Palmer penalty. Then Mudryk, fortunately or not, depends how you see it, shot or cross, who knows, in the 48th minute put them 2-0 up. And then Rice gifted his opportunity by Robert Sanchez in the Chelsea goal, scored in the 77th, and then Trossard in the 84th. So it does mean that they are still unbeaten in the Premier League after 9 games. Arsenal, 6 wins and 3 draws, 18 scored, 8 conceded, 4 clean sheets. And it's quite obvious with Arsenal last season, and it's again this season, they are a lot better defensively away from home. 3 of their 4 Premier League clean sheets have been away from home. Last season in the league, they only conceded 18 goals away from home, and they conceded a lot more at home. Last season overall in the league, they conceded 40. It says 43 here. Do I believe that's correct? I don't know. Are my stats wrong? Am I failing with the stats? Let's have a look. No, conceded 43 goals. And apparently 18 of them were at home, but again, I think that's wrong. I think I failed to update that stat. It's very poor. But I know they conceded, basically, my point being, they concede a lot more goals at home than away from home. And I believe that's because at home they play a lot more expansive, a lot more open, believing that they're going to score a lot of goals. But away from home, they believe they're going to score the goals, but also realise that they're away from home. It could be a hostile atmosphere, and they do need to be a bit more, shored up defensively. So it works for them because they win a lot of home games, and they win a lot of games in general these days. Arsenal. Let's fact check myself. Yeah, 18 goals. Yeah, see, I trust myself more. Yeah, in the league last season, they conceded 18 away and 25 at home. I knew I was right. Believe in yourself more. That's what I need to do with the stats. Believe what I've written down. As the second half will be getting underway in just under a minute's time now. It's Sevilla 0, Arsenal 1. Gabriel Martinelli with the goal just before half-time. Assisted beautifully by Gabriel Jesus, who Cruyff turned inside his own half and played it through to Martinelli in behind. So, here come the Arsenal players who re-emerge from the tunnel for the start of this second half in Seville. I think the Sevilla players are already out on the pitch. Yes, they are. The home side are raring and ready to go. They're still showing this Jesus turn, and it's so good. It deserves as many replays as it gets. Cruyff turn, you can't beat them when they come off, especially when you take out 2 players in the game. with the turn. And then the ball played through right in between Ramos and Acuna. It's just beautiful football, really, that you've got to appreciate no matter who you support. So I'll keep you up to date with the other Champions League scores if any goals do appear from the other grounds, which we've not had many of. As it'll be Sevilla kicking left to right. Arsenal right to left. It'll be Sevilla with kick-off as well. Van Nisiri. As we get the Swedish referee's whistle. Goes back to Rakitic in the centre circle. Back once more to Goodell. It goes across to the left to Sergio Ramos. Back it goes here to Nyland. Clips it out to the right winger to Luca Bacchio, who chests it down to Rakitic. Takes a touch just inside the Sevilla half and bends it round the corner looking for En-Nesyri. He will be beaten to it by Gabriel, who calmly deals with the ball and plays it across the Arsenal 18-yard line to Ben White, who relaxes the ball down and plays it forward to Declan Rice inside the Arsenal half. Across again it goes to Gabriel, ball forward to Jesus, and then out to Tomiyasu, who just about keeps it in. Bit of a heavy pass, but he crosses the halfway line now. He's got Martinelli to his left, Jesus to his right. He'll go to his left to Martinelli, midway inside the Sevilla half. He sees a switch on out to the opposite side towards Ødegaard. It will not reach the Norwegian, picked up here by Acuna, and it'll be Sevilla's chance to try and attack with Ocampos. Driving inside from the left, overruns it through Ødegaard, who keeps it in on the far side and completes a nice bit of play with Ben White, who gets the return from Saka on the Arsenal right, forward to Ødegaard. Now Jesus, back out wide right to Ben White. In the final third now Arsenal, as they won a second. Saka, cutting onto his left foot, playing it across the edge of the box to Ødegaard, who shoots with the weaker right foot, blocked by Samare. He'll fall out to Jorginho on the left. He now has it with Martinelli. It's now Tomiyasu, about 40 yards away from goal here. Jorginho works it back out to the left here to Martinelli. 1-on-1 with Navas. 1-2 with Saka. Martinelli on the edge. Tries to cross it low. Blocked back towards him. Touch goes to Rice, who keeps it away from Ocampos. White, from afar, he wants to shoot, and his shot is over the bar. Doesn't score often, Ben White. Does have the one so far this season. Came away from home at Bournemouth. Scored twice last season in the league and in all competitions. Making his 97th appearance for Arsenal, Ben White. Getting close to that 100 club for the former Brighton defender. As Goodell's clearance in the 18-yard box is cannoned off Gabriel Jesus. Be throwing for Sevilla deep inside their own half here. They need to be careful, the Spanish side, who currently sit 13th in La Liga. Finished only 12th last season with 49 points, and they could be going 2 behind here. Jesus in the box. He's had his shot saved by Nyland, and Ødegaard sends it over. 12 yards out on his left foot. Just couldn't get over the ball there, Ødegaard. Slams it over. From the throw-in, Navas went to Rakitic, but the ball back towards Navas was intercepted by Martinelli, who played it forward to Jesus, and on the angle tried to lift it over Nyland, who was able to block. And the blocked save fell to the feet of Ødegaard, who just slammed it over the crossbar. Always rising from the Norwegian. He struggled a little bit this season in the last few games. Does have 4 for the season, though. 3 in the league and 1 in the Champions League in the opener against PSV. Sorry, just dropping the mic there. Sorry if that made a loud thud. As Sevilla play out from the back with Sergio Ramos. Midway inside his own half here on the far left-hand side. Goes for a ball over the top. And it's nodded down by Ocampos to find Rakitic. It goes out to the right side now to Luca Bacchio. Navas on the overlap in the final third. Towards the byline. 1-on-1 with Tomiyasu. Goes on the outside and he crosses with a deflection. No. What? Yes. Corner. Hits the roof of the net. From the referee's point, it looked like he was doing that for like a goal kick, not that for a corner, but a corner's been given. Deflected cross from Tomiyasu. Good defending from the Japanese, who did play 2 full Serie A seasons. Tomiyasu before joining 2 years ago for £19.8 million from Bologna. But now Arsenal as a whole have got some more defending to do. It'll be an outswinger on this near side from Ivan Rakitic. In it goes towards the near post. It's helped on there by Sergio Ramos. Comes off the Spaniard last. Goal kick Arsenal. He was being met there by the challenge of Declan Rice, but it was Ramos to get the only touch. A man who hasn't scored for Sevilla since a 2-2 draw against Real Madrid, which is quite ironic, the team he went and moved on to. His last goal for Sevilla came back on the 14th of May, 2005. So he's not scored for this club for around 23 years? When he was 24 years old. As Martinelli, ball forward to Jesus. Turns Goodell again. He loves it, Jesus. Driving towards the left. He's got Rice in the left wing position. Goes on his own. Tries to get back onto his right foot. Plays it across the box to Odegaard. It's now Saka. Left-footed ball in towards Jesus, who meets the header, but I think it's stopped by Navas. And it allows Nyland to make an easy save with a catch. Very eventful second half so far. We've not even played 5 minutes. And you guys wouldn't know because I've not started the timer. Apologies. Get that going in a minute. As we have played 5 minutes now. Nyland plays it out to Ramos. Again in the left-back area for Sevilla. Down the line it goes to a Campos. Gets the last touch there off Ben White. And it'll be a throw-in for Sevilla on the halfway line. He'll play it quickly inside towards Acuna. Takes the touch away from Jorginho, but not from Saka. Forward to Odegaard on halfway. Ball inside looking for Martinelli. He's cut out by Samare. It's Navas on halfway. Played forward to Luka Bacchio. Goes back again. Halfway to Rakitic. As it's back out to Navas. Midway side the Arsenal half. Just goes to his left again and across to Nemanja Goodell. It's now with Rakitic, just playing a little bit deeper so far tonight. Ivan Rakitic to keep getting the ball. He plays it down the right channel, looking for Luka Bacchio. It's overhit, and Tomiyasu can see it behind for a goal kick. Well defended there by Tomiyasu. Bit of a misplaced ball there, really, from Rakitic down the right channel for Sevilla, looking for Luka Bacchio, who scored his first 2 goals for Belgium in the last international break against Austria in a 3-2 win in the European qualifier. Arsenal play out from the back with Gabriel. Ball forward to Tomiyasu, who's allowed to turn forward and pass the halfway line on the Arsenal left on this near side. Gets it further down the left-hand side to Martinelli. One-on-one with Jesus. Stops in his tracks, goes inside to Tomiyasu, who's tackled there by Samare fairly. Throwing for Sevilla. Well won there by the French holding midfielder, Samare, who's only ever played for France at under-21 level. That's the highest level he's played at, sorry. Under-21, Samare. Navas, big throw down the line, up towards halfway. Header won by Rice, helped back forward though by Rakitic, brought down by Saliba. It's now been worked out to the right to Ben White on halfway by Jorginho, and they've been forced back into their own half here to Saliba to keep possession here for Arsenal. Only 22 years of age, Saliba. What a player he is for Arsenal. As we're over 7 minutes into this second half, Arsenal still have their lead through Gabriel Martinelli. There's a big ball forward by Raya. He's met by the head of Goodell, but it's brought down on the left by Declan Rice, midway inside the Sevilla half. He's got the overlap of Jesus. He'll feed it to the former Manchester City player. One-on-one with Navas, former with Manchester City as well. Onto his right foot. He's fancying the shot! And that is nothing short of incredible. He provided an unbelievable assist for the first and an even better finish for the second. He is Arsenal's second player to score in his first 3 Champions League games for the club. The only other Arsenal player to have done it was Marouane Chamakh in the 2010-2011 season. But he has brought some different quality tonight, Jesus. Scored in every single game so far for Arsenal in this year's Champions League, and that might be the pick of the bunch. Clinical. Nothing short of clinical. Rice picks it up on the left-hand side, fed it to the overlap of Jesus, who's quite wide here on the angle, so had to drive himself back inside towards this angle to shoot. And he had to wrap his whole body around it with his foot as well. Top right corner. To get the foot to bend it, a side netting, that is serious skill. What a goal that is. 2 brilliant Arsenal goals have given them a 2-goal advantage, and it is deserved just through the pure quality of the goals, and both have had Jesus involved. Sevilla 0, Arsenal 2. And sometimes you just can't stop that kind of ability. Jesus, 12 yards out on the angle, right foot, bends it into the far corner, top corner as well. No stopping it from Nyland. And Arsenal have a little bit of a cushion as they still sit pretty at the top of their Champions League group. PSV have taken the lead away at Lens. So the group now stands Arsenal top with 6 points. PSV are second with 4 points. Lens are third with 4 points. And Sevilla are bottom with 2 points. So quite a lot of shifting in the group since the start of the day. As Ødegaard now has it for Arsenal. Shifts it out to the right to Saka in the final third. Enters the box on the right. He's been brought down by Ocampos. Referee sees it as a fair challenge. Not many complaints from Arsenal players. And it can be cleared by Sevilla on halfway to Saliba, who brings it down. And he plays it forward here to Ødegaard. Back inside to Jorginho. And back once more to Saliba. And Arsenal are back in possession. As I mentioned before, only the second Arsenal player to score in his first 3 Champions League games for the club, joining prestigious names with Marouane Chamakh, who also has done the same for Arsenal back in 2010. As Arsenal play it through the Sevilla lines. It's now Rice. Martinelli making a run forward, but Rice takes it on his own, then chops it through to Martinelli in the box on the left. Crosses it to the far post. It falls through to Saka, who lays it off to Ødegaard, blocked by Ramos, and it'll fall to Acuna on the byline. Back-heels it in the box to Ramos, who then clears with the left boot. Probably should have been a third there for Arsenal. If Ben White keeps it in. No, he doesn't. His header's just gone out. Arsenal concede the throw-in midway inside the Sevilla half. Yohan Bakayoko with the goal for PSV at Lens. As United still 0-0 against Copenhagen. It's a double change here for Sevilla. Gibril So is replaced by number 12, Mariano Diaz, who's a striker. So a central midfielder off for a striker. And then the next change is Dudi Lukebakio, who is going to be replaced for a like-for-like swap. And that is number 17, Eric Lamela, who scored twice this season in the league against Alaves and Almeria. Was injured for the last 2 games, Lamela, before the international break, but he's returned fit now. It's a free kick for Sevilla, just 10 yards inside the Arsenal half on the left-hand side. It's already being shifted out towards the right now, with Goodell, the centre-back, bringing it forward and playing it out to the right now to Navas. Everything to his left. He's got Lamela now in support, but he shifts it with a huge switch out to the left, chested down by Ocampos, who's been met by the defensive work of Bukayo Saka. Plays a ball inside to Ramos, 40 yards from goal. He's going to switch it out again himself to Navas. Brought down nicely. And plays it to his left here to Goodell, who from centre-back is right on the edge of the 18-yard box here. Plays it back into the path of Navas. Crossed by the right back and blocked by the knees of Tomiyasu. Another corner here for Sevilla. A goal from Sevilla can really change the tide of this game. 2-1, half the deficit. Put Arsenal under a bit of pressure. Be an outswinger from Rakitic on this near side. Towards the centre of the box, and it's headed in. It's his second goal in this season's Champions League. It's Nemanja Goodell, the centre-half, who towers up to half that deficit. Arsenal had only just gone 2 up 5 minutes ago. And now, from a corner, they have been pegged back to only lead 2-1. Rakitic, good ball in. More towards the near post. Nemanja Goodell got up and above Jesus and heads it towards that bottom right corner. Raya left flat-footed. And as it ripped the back of the net, Sevilla gain hope. Sevilla 1, Arsenal 2. The goals are starting to flow in Seville. Good header there from Nemanja Goodell. Gave them the lead at PSV away in the last game. Didn't quite hold out for the 3 points in that one. This time he's got his team back in the game against Arsenal. Tomiyasu throws it to Martinelli on the byline. Kicks it off Lamela, formerly of Spurs. And it'll be a corner for Arsenal now on the near side. Interestingly as well, Lamela was nominated for the Puskas Award. You might remember. Back in 2021 for his Rabona goal against Arsenal at the Emirates. which in a game he also got sent off in as well and lost 2-1. There'll be an in-swinger here from Martinelli. Can they fight back with their own corner here, Arsenal? It's one towards the far post. Jesus was going for it. He's not met the ball, though. And it'll be another corner. Came off a Sevilla man, but Jesus went into Samare. No, it's Gabriel, sorry, not Gabriel Jesus. Just Gabriel, the centre-back. Let's have a look. Towards the far post, Samare won the header, and Gabriel just headed the back of the head of Samare, but both were okay. And it'll be another in-swinger on the far side, this time from Saka. Right arm raised. Saka. In-swinger. Far post. Too much swing on it. It'll be a goal kick for Sevilla. Just give me a second. Arsenal already have it back with Martinelli playing it inside on the edge of the box towards Rice, picked up by Rakitic, won back though by Rice and now played into Jorginho. To his right to Ødegaard. Finds Saka furthest right for Arsenal, midway inside the Sevilla half. He goes back himself towards halfway to Ben White. Then back forward to Saka. He's got to take on Acuna, goes on the outside of Acuna. Keeps it away from the Argentine, then pulled down by Acuna and that'll be a free kick. Acuna believes it wasn't a foul, but it definitely was. Cynically pulled down Saka and Acuna. Just have to be careful. I've mentioned it before, but I'll mention it again. He picked up 4 red cards last season, Acuna. 3 in the league in August, April and May, and then picked one up against Juventus in the Europa League semi-final. So he is one to be sent off, Acuna. Which I just find 4 red cards in the season. That's absolutely ridiculous. As Real Madrid now lead 2-1 in their game. PSV still lead 1-0. United are still 0-0 at home to Copenhagen. As we're just under half an hour to go in this game, we've got a Saka free kick. Towards the corner flag, it's a bit of an angled cross that you'd try and work from a corner, using the short man. So Saka, in it goes! It's flapped away by Nyland. That'll be a corner, I think. I think he saw it late, the Norwegian goalkeeper. Saka put it in with a bit of pace, bit of curl, and it's going towards the goal, and he's just had to punch it behind there. And it'll be an in-swinging corner now from Martinelli on the near side, putting Sevilla under more pressure. In it goes. Far post again, as the header's been met, I think by Saliba, but then also deflected off a Sevilla man, and then it's hooked away to the edge of the box. It's not convincing here from Sevilla. It drops to Acuna in the 18-yard box, who will take it to the corner flag and hoof away off of Gabriel. And a throw-in it is for Sevilla, taken quickly by Acuna into Sergio Ramos on the edge of the 18-yard box for Sevilla. Plays it forward. Good play. It's now with Lamela, taking it out to the Sevilla right, passing the halfway line, and laying it off into Navas. Down the line to Ocampos, who tries to find the on-rushing Lamela. Can't quite find him, but the ball eventually drops to Samare midway inside the Arsenal half. Driving forward towards the edge of the 18-yard box, clipping the ball into the far post. It's been brought down here and struck, and it's off the bar! And it's cleared by Tomiyasu, but there was a handball in it. Mariano Diaz, the man who took the ball down and struck off the bar, I think used his arm in the process. Really neat ball, though, into the left side of the box by Samare. And it was well brought down as well by Mariano Diaz. Let it come across his body, and yeah, I think just his upper left arm was used to bring it down. And then the strike was hit with venom, and it was tipped onto the bar by David Raya. That's a brilliant save. Wouldn't have counted anyway, because I do think he used his arm there, Mariano Diaz. But that's a great save to tip it onto the bar, because he hit that with some power. Like I said, good ball from Samare. Mariano Diaz lost his man of Ben White, but used his arm to bring the ball down before his strike. That's now Samare again on the ball, losing out to Jesus, and Rice pokes it out for a throw-in for Sevilla. Midway inside their own half here. As Sevilla, before the new manager of Diego Alonso, were playing every game with 4-2-3-1. I think under new manager Diego Alonso. It's more of a structured 4-3-3 than a 4-2-3-1. As Martinelli has it on the left. Ball inside to Jesus. Back to Martinelli. Jesus, though, misplaces the ball to Lamela. It's now Navas in the right-back area for Sevilla. Clears it down the line. Up to halfway. Helped on by Mariano Diaz, but can't find En-Nesyri. As it now drops to Jorginho on halfway. Forward to Ødegaard. Bullied off it by Samare. Back it goes to Ramos. Into the path of Acuna at left-back. Plays it into the Arsenal half. With Ocampos. Sees a switch onto the right side. Tomiyasu's going to have to deal with it, and he does do so nicely with a header down. Only as far as Navas, midway inside the Arsenal half. 25 minutes to go. Lamela. Inside to Rakitic, back out to Navas. Lifts a ball into the 18-yard box. Header won by Mariano Diaz, and he'll drop to Ocampos! He goes for the bicycle kick attempt, but hits the framework behind the goal. And that would have been something special from Lucas Ocampos. Another good ball in there by Navas, just clipping it up there. And it came off the head of Mariano Diaz towards the far post, where all alone Ocampos took on the acrobatic attempt, but just hit the top of his foot, and wide and high it went for a goal kick for Arsenal, where it's been clipped up to the halfway line by David Raya to Gabriel Jesus. Bullied off the ball too easily for the referee's liking. Rakitic clips it into the box for Sevilla. Nodded in, brought down. Diaz with an acrobatic attempt of his own, deflected. Raya will meet it for a goal kick. Yellow card for Mariano Diaz, arguing with the referee, who was the latest to have an acrobatic attempt. And it must have deflected off one of his own players. And it's gone for a goal kick. Bit of mayhem there from Sevilla. Good chip ball in by Navas to find Ocampos. And then Mariano Diaz had an attempt of his own. It came off En-Nesyri last, I believe. Chested it down. Bicycle kick. Yeah, came off the hip of En-Nesyri. I think just the one yellow card. Mariano Diaz booked for his arguments, wanting a corner. United still 0-0 at home to Copenhagen. Napoli have taken a 1-0 lead at Union Berlin. As the goal kick's been taken, helped forward by Jesus in the Sevilla half. Samaria lets it bounce and then heads it forward to En-Nesyri, who's been caught on the top of the head by Jorginho. High boot from the Italian, and it will be a yellow card for the former Chelsea man. Who stayed down there. The number 20, Jorginho. 4 trophies in his time at Chelsea, winning the Champions League, Europa League, Club World Cup and a Super Cup. So all UEFA competition. He's got good European experience, Jorginho, playing in his 41st Champions League game. As Lens have equalised at home to PSV. So that means Arsenal still remain top of the group and Lens are just behind them. So Arsenal on 6 points, Lens in second on 5 points, and then a bit of a gap between third and fourth as Sevilla and PSV are both on 2 points as it stands. As Navas has it now for Sevilla. Back inside as En-Nesyri is okay to continue after the Jorginho high boot. Rakitic again deep in the midfield. He likes to pick it up in these areas and distribute the ball with his skill and class. Samare in the centre circle. Furthest back for Sevilla. Goes out to the right. It's now with Rakitic in almost like a right-back position. The Croatian. As he's going to look to try and feed it towards Navas on the far right. Ops against it. He's been chased down by Rice now. Plays it forward to Ocampos. Now Lamela. Still on the Sevilla right here. Ocampos in the final third. Tackled there nicely by Martinelli. Who will be tackled himself by Lamela fairly. Back in Sevilla possession. And Lamela goes back now to Samare. All Arsenal plays behind the ball as Sevilla camping the Arsenal half momentarily. Worked out to the right-hand side to Ivan Rakitic. She's got some options in the box. It's a low one towards the edge of the box. Cut out by Jorginho. And now dribbled away by Rice. Gets beyond 1, 2, 3 Sevilla men. Rice still charging away. He's got Saka to his right. He'll play it to fellow Englishman Saka. On his left foot. Edge of the box. His shot's blocked by En-Nesyri. Coming back from striker to block the shot. And it drops in the end to Ødegaard. But there was an offside anyway as Rice's ball to Saka was offside. But that is some serious ball carrying from Declan Rice there, from his own half. And Sevilla take it quickly. It's a long ball deep into the Arsenal half, but it's a well-won headed by Tomiyasu to find the hands of David Raya. And he rolls it out into the 18-yard box to Saliba, forward to Jorginho, shifts it out to the right to Ben White. Still with Arsenal. Martinelli. Just before the halfway line in the Arsenal half, as Kai Havertz is on the sidelines, ready to come on for Arsenal, as Tomiyasu chips it out to the right side to Saka, brings it down, midway inside the Sevilla half, step overs, inside, ball to Ødegaard, drops in the end to Jesus, who's dropped to the deck, but he's able to kick it to Ødegaard through the legs of Acuna, but he's ended up being bossed off the ball by Acuna, and it's now Lamela, still inside the Sevilla half, shifts it out to the left to Rakitic, chance and counter on. Enters the Arsenal half, plays it forward down the left-hand side here to Mariano Diaz, formerly of Real Madrid. One-on-one with Ben White, enters the box in the corner, tries the cross, it's a low one, it's deflected off White, corner kick for Sevilla. Their goal from Nemanja Gudel came from a corner. Can they score 2 goals from corners? Be a real kick in the teeth for the Gunners if they concede 2 from corners. It's going to be Rakitic again. Instead of an out-swinger, this time it'll be an in-swinger. Can they defend this better this time, Arsenal? They want to try and keep this lead and stay top of the group. In it goes, header won by Gabriel on the 6-yard line. Looks far as Samari on the edge of the box for Sevilla. Goes back to Navas. Just in front of the centre circle. Out wide left it goes to Rakitic. Can he recycle it in the box? He goes back to Acuna. Arsenal push up the field. It's now with Lamela, who's drifted from the right-hand side to the left. And works with Rakitic, who misplaces a touch. Tackled by Saka. Out for a throw in for Sevilla, midway inside the Arsenal half, as Tomiyasu is currently down at the minute, holding his left boot. Ramos is there to try and help the Japanese international. Let's get a replay of that. Definitely an off-the-ball incident. Arteta not happy, as Havertz is still waiting to come on for Arsenal. Tomiyasu's back to his feet. Ramos is stood with him at the far post. I don't think there's really much in it. I think Tomiyasu thought that Ramos had stood on his foot. And if he did, I don't think it was too dangerous. I didn't get a great angle from it, to be fair. As again, Martin Ødegaard is going to be substituted. He's really struggling the last couple of weeks, Martin Ødegaard. He's had some criticism on social media for his performances in recent games, and the Arsenal captain has been brought off again. He was substituted off against Chelsea in the weekend as well, and he's going to be brought off now for Kai Havertz. So a like-for-like change. We know Kai Havertz can play in that Ødegaard role, and here he comes, number 29, Kai Havertz. He's got the 2 previous appearances against Sevilla in the Champions League group stage for Chelsea in 2020, the season they went on and won the Champions League, where he was the man to win it for them in the final against Manchester City. And Kai Havertz, who came on to make his 100th appearance in the Premier League at the weekend, has now come on for Ødegaard as a ball into the box for Sevilla towards Ramos, who stayed forward. He's just gone right through for a goal kick, just overhit there. So 17 minutes to go. Arsenal need to try and see out these 3 points. As he goes short to Gabriel, feeds it back into Raya, who plays it forward to the edge of the box to Jorginho, who's allowed to turn. And playing out to the right side to Havertz on halfway. Now with Saka. Tries a roulette turn himself, tackled by Acuna, who kicks it off White on halfway. Throwing for Sevilla as Harry Maguire gives United the lead against Copenhagen. So United, who are in dire needs of the 3 points to try and stay in the group stages and not get themselves knocked out early, have got the lead against Danish side Copenhagen. Harry Maguire with the goal. Because the worst that United could do would be going in the Europa League, and that might be a decent little route for them to try and get Champions League for next season, as a cross into the box towards En-Nesyri on the edge of the 6-yard box has been punched away by David Raya, but the flag's up anyway for offside. So the goal wouldn't have stood anyway if En-Nesyri got there first and put it in the back of the net. Yeah, it was just in front of Gabriel there on the penalty spot, En-Nesyri. Then the cross was put in there on the Sevilla left. So it'll be a free kick taken here by David Raya. Out towards the right side over hip, straight out for a throw-in for Sevilla midway inside their own half. Even Havertz at the height of 6'4", couldn't quite keep it in. Throw in by Acuna. Down the line, headed off the head of White, kept in by Jorginho. On the Arsenal right, just inside their own half, and it's Arsenal to regain possession of the football. As Saliba forced back into the 18-yard box now with David Raya. He's going to have to be forced to clear it here. It's not a great clearance. It's headed back forward by Ramos, picked up by Rakitic on the Sevilla left. Campos gets away from Havertz, slots it through and behind. Man gone down in the box there from Saliba. And there's a yellow card for a dive. I don't think it's a dive. Free kick for Arsenal, 15 minutes to go. Ball played in behind in the left side of the box for Lamela. He's not complaining much. I thought there was contact, but just a dangle of legs. No, there's no dangle of legs. He's just fell to the ground. Well done, referee. Glenn Nyberg of Sweden books Eric Lamela for simulation. That's a free kick for Arsenal. David Raya takes the free kick on the edge of the 18-yard box. Up towards Jesus, who loses out. He's got the captain's armband on as well now, Gabriel Jesus, after the substitution of Martin Ødegaard, as the ball's been rolled out to Ramos. Ball forward to Ocampos, back to Rakitic. First time ball over the top, asking questions here. Mariano Diaz will give chase. Saliba will get there first and will keep it away from Diaz and shifts it forward to Jorginho. Works a ball out to right back White. Dinks it into the Sevilla half, looking for Saka. Cut out by Acuna. Forward to Ramos. Ball inside straight to Jesus. It's a bad pass from Ramos. And it's now Saka on the right-hand side in the final third. Rice wants it on the edge. Saka hesitates and plays a short ball to Havertz, who's there in support. Back down the right to Saka towards the byline. One-on-one with Sergio Ramos. Left foot. Curls it towards the far post, but no one's making the run in there for Arsenal. And there'll be a goal kick for Sevilla. Sevilla last season were knocked out in the group stages of the Champions League, in a group where they had Manchester City, Dortmund and Copenhagen. Then went through obviously to the Europa League and won it after beating the likes of PSV, who's in their group this year, Fenerbahce, Manchester United, Juventus and Roma. Some big teams they beat to get to this point. Sevilla, Samare, ball on the edge of the box to Lamela. Tackled by Saliba, but it drops to Ocampos. Out to the right to Navas. Not quite on the far right hand side as he shifts it towards the byline here. Works the cross in. It's a high one, headed away by Saliba. Out to the Arsenal right, where it'll be kept in by Bukayo Saka. And he goes back to Ben White at right back. He then lifts it down the channel, looking for Havertz, met by Ramos. Throwing for Sevilla. Big chance there. Another good cross there by Jesus Navas, who's making his 70th Champions League appearance tonight. The Sevilla captain, whose last goal in the Champions League came against Stuttgart in the group stage. It was a 1-1 draw back in November of 2009. 5,102 days ago. Martin Atkinson was the referee, English referee. As Sevilla are going to make a change with 12 minutes to go. It's going to be number 16, Jesus Navas. May have just run out of steam. Jesus Navas, 37 years of age. But he's been really good on that right side with crosses. But obviously 37, might not be able to play the full 90 minutes. So he's going to be replaced by other right back, Juanlu Sanchez. A right back who's been at the club since age 12. Joined in 2015. He's now at the age of 20. Making only his 11th first team appearance for the club. As the throw-in from White is kept alive by Jesus, but he loses out to Rakitic as he tackles the Croatian, and it's the throw-in for Sevilla, taken quickly and thrown inside to Gudel. Midway inside his own half here as Sevilla have to build from the back. And he still has it here. Gudel forward to the halfway line to Rakitic. First time ball, looking in behind for Mariano Diaz, cut out well by Tomiyasu, and it's now with Saliba. He goes forward to Saka. Once more to Jesus, past the halfway line. He's got Havertz with him. He's tackled strongly though by Samare in the centre circle. Possession back with Sevilla. 11 minutes to go. As Jesus has gone down. But Sevilla are going to continue to play. They have got no right to kick the ball out. But Rakitic stops play. That's just a chance for Sevilla to have a chance to get in behind. But it's not great though for Jesus. It's actually very worrying. He's holding the right hamstring. It's been a problem injury since joining Arsenal. He had a knee injury last season. He didn't start any of Arsenal's first 5 due to returning from injury. And with that challenge from Samare in the centre circle, he just felt a bit of pain in I think the right hamstring. He's back to his feet. I don't know if he'll be able to continue. No, he won't. He's taken the captain's armband off. And he'll be replaced here by number 14, Eddie Nketiah. He's got 2 goals so far this season, both in the Premier League in the first 3 games against Forest and Fulham, both at home. Only featured for 10 minutes against Lens in their last game, and it looks like he's going to feature for the last 10 in this game. Eddie Nketiah. It's Gabriel Jesus. Just hobbles off the field. Hopefully it's not too serious, because he was able to get back to his feet quite quickly. As Bukayo Saka is also being replaced by number 19, Leandro Trossard, who got the equaliser at the weekend against Chelsea, scoring his 2nd goal of the season in the Premier League. His other one came away at Everton, but he's also scored and assisted against PSV in the first game of the Champions League. He did start the previous 2, Trossard, in the Champions League, but was dropped tonight to the bench for Martinelli. He also scored the equaliser against City, so he's got 4 for the season so far. So Trossard's on for Saka, and Nketiah replaces an injured Gabriel Jesus, who scored and assisted beautifully tonight. 2 goals that definitely deserve the 3 points, but it's not always the way in football. You don't always get what you deserve. As Sevilla have it on halfway. Arsenal camped in their own half here. Goodell has it. All Arsenal players currently behind the ball as they get it to the right to Sanchez. New right back on for Sevilla. Say new, he's been at the club since 2015, but new to the first team for sure. Was on loan last season in La Liga, 2nd division, at Mirandes. As they still have it, and still all Arsenal players currently behind the ball as Rakitic has it deep in midfield. Out into the path of Sanchez at right back, getting forward from full back. Try to take on Trossard, getting a deflected cross into the 18-yard box. Hooked away by Tomiyasu to the edge to Nketiah, who links up now with Rice, who's ball forward towards Trossard. Can't be met by either Trossard or Nketiah. One back by Sevilla. Chance. Ball clips in towards Enesiri, but Lamella's ball's poor. And it goes right through in the end to David Raya. Poor from this former Spurs man. He spent 8 years at Tottenham, Eric Lamela. Making his 30th appearance in the Champions League, Eric Lamela. As Arsenal have it on the halfway line on the right-hand side here. With Ben White getting away from the challenge of Ocampos. And going down the line. And the ball's been played inside here to Havertz. Jorginho forward to Nketiah, about 25 yards away from goal, but he goes back to goal. So it finds Tomiyasu. Then far left is Trossard. Fresh on as a substitute here, the Belgian. 1-on-1 with Sanchez. Goes on the outside of him towards the byline, tries the cross, comes off Sanchez. Last, it's a corner for Arsenal. They thought it came off Trossard last, but the referee says no. As Lens and PSV still 1-1. United still lead 1-0 against Copenhagen. Napoli 1-0 up away at Union Berlin. Braga trailing 2-1 to Real Madrid at home. Sociedad also winning away at Benfica. So a few more goals have gone in the second half in the Champions League. As Trossard will take this in-swinger at the near side. Trossard delivers the ball. Far post towards Saliba, but the referee blows for a foul in the box. Free kick for Sevilla. And in the history of this fixture, they played each other twice. As I mentioned before, 1 win each. Arsenal won their game at the Emirates in 2007. And so did Sevilla at home. 3-1. So can Arsenal take the upper hand in the head-to-head record? They've got 6 minutes plus added on time to defend the lead they've got. Samare passes halfway. Down the right side is Sanchez, the right back for Sevilla. Met 1-on-1 with Trossard, so forced back now to Samare. Across he goes to Sergio Ramos. Forward and to the left to Ocampos. Back he goes to the centre circle to Goodell. Keeps the ball moving away from Nketiah. Still has it here, Goodell. But the pressure from Nketiah forces him back to his goalkeeper, Nyland. Goes out towards the left back area where it's Ramos to keep the position. Back to Nyland in the 18-yard box. Good pressing here from Arsenal to get up the field. Ramos. 5.5 minutes left to play. Goes across the 18-yard line to goalkeeper Orjan Nyland, who gets a zip ball out to the right here to Juan Luis Sanchez bursts around Trossard. He can't burst around Trossard. Well defended by Trossard. Then he's caught there. That's a free kick for Arsenal. Well defended there by the Belgian. Leandro Trossard, signed in January of this year for £27 million from Brighton. He's got just the 5 goals for Arsenal in his previous 30 appearances in all competitions, but has collected 11 assists. 9 of them last season in the Premier League. First ever Champions League campaign for Trossard. As Arsenal have got a free kick here in the left-back area. 5 minutes to go plus added on time. Goals from Martinelli and Jesus are the difference, despite having their lead cut in half by Nemanja Gudel. Lifted ball down the left channel for Arsenal. Header won by Gudel. Kept forward by Tomiyasu, but as far as Sanchez. Forward towards En-Nesyri, cleared by Gabriel, straight into the hands of Nyland. And it's Sevilla in possession. In the edge of their 18-yard box. With Gudel, the centre-back, turning on Nketiah and committing the foul. Free kick for Sevilla. Played out to Sergio Ramos, who's played Arsenal twice previously, and he's yet to beat them. Knocked out when he was in his first season at Real Madrid in the last 16 by Arsenal. And it looks like that record is going to continue for him of just not being able to beat this Arsenal side. I'll say this Arsenal side, Arsenal in general. First Sergio Ramos, the 4-time Champions League winner. There's Nemanja Gudel, has it on halfway for Sevilla. Out to the right to Sanchez. 4 minutes plus added on time to go. Sanchez feeds it down the line to Lamela. He's met by Rice. Can he take on Rice? No, he can't. In a left-back position, Rice cleans up and plays it down the line. For Nketiah will get there. And it's Sanchez, but then he's bullied off the ball by Sanchez. Good recovery from the right-back. It's now Rakitic midway inside the Arsenal half. Works out to the right to Sanchez. Inside to Lamela. Back out to Sanchez, who will keep it in play and work across, which is deflected off Tomiyasu. Throwing for Sevilla, taken quickly into the box, but kept away from goal by Rice. Cleared by Tomiyasu. Throwing for the home side. Again, midway inside the Arsenal half, so they're keeping the pressure on. Samare throws it back towards halfway to Gudel. Then out to the left now to Ramos. Acuna's drifting wide. He goes the opposite way instead, out to Samare on the right. He's got Rakitic in support. Here is Rakitic. Ball forward to Ocampos, who drifted from the left to the right-hand side. Twisting and turning away from Rice. Getting a cross in. It's a low one. It's a scuffed clearance from Gabriel. It's still in the air in the box. Met again by Gabriel, but not as far as Ocampos on the edge. Out to the right to Sanchez. Curls across in. It's another low one. Not dealt with again, though, by Jorginho this time. Header in the box. Collected by Raya. Header from around 9 yards out there. I think it was won by En-Nesyri or Mariano Diaz. 2 clearances there from Gabriel and Jorginho, just right into the air. Not very convincing. And I think it was, I don't know, it was either En-Nesyri or Diaz. I think it was Mariano Diaz who got the header towards goal. But it was easily saved by Raya towards his left side. Cleared forward towards Rice in the centre circle, but he loses out. And it's a great ball out to the right to Ocampos, who couldn't take it under control. And there's still a chance for Sevilla. They're being given some instructions here from new head coach Diego Alonso, the Uruguayan. It's his first ever job in European football. Did face Thierry Henry as a manager though. A bit of a link to Arsenal. Diego Alonso, when he was at Inter Miami, and Thierry Henry was at Montreal, and he lost 2-1 in October of 2020. So he has faced Arsenal heritage before, Diego Alonso, but not the team in his managerial career. 90 seconds to go. Arsenal have it on halfway with Jorginho. Tries to play back though towards Saliba, and it's been picked up here by Mariano Diaz, but he just ran out of room on the left-hand side there. Jorginho gets away with that. That's a really poor pass, that, from Jorginho. Just lazy. You know, he's given away the ball a few times this season, very famously against Tottenham in the North London derby, to give Tottenham an equaliser straight after taking the lead through Bukayo Saka on the penalty spot. And Arsenal want to make another change with a minute to go. It's Jakub Kiwior who's getting ready, the Polish centre-half. Yet to feature in a Champions League game yet this season, as the throw-in's been taken towards Nketiah. Bullied off the ball by Ramos and fouls him in the process. And Ramos takes it quickly. And it's out to Sanchez, the right-back, inside his own half. Plays it forward on halfway to Ocampos. Back into the path of Sanchez, who keeps it away from Trossard. Down the line it goes here to Lamela. Not got many options, not got many white shirts near him. He's able to play back to Ocampos, who's been chased down here by Tomiyasu. the leading presser here for Arsenal. He's able to shift it out to the left to Ramos. Once more to the left to Acuna. Wonder how much time will get added on here. As Gudel has it now for Sevilla. 15-yard pass forward to Lamela. Out to the far right now to Sanchez. Everything to his left. Cuts on the inside. Edge of the box. Plays to Ocampos. Tries the 1-2. Headed away by Tomiyasu. Drops to Rice. Who's been pressed here very aggressively by Ocampos. He's been worked towards the corner flag here, Rice. And he's able to clear it down the line, but it's gone out of play. Throwing taken quickly by Gudel. 6 minutes added on. Can Sevilla work an equaliser? Arsenal lost their first away game back in the Champions League to Lens in their last game. They want to try and hold on for a win this time. Rakitic puts it in the box and the header's won. And it's headed wide. Mariano Diaz, who's been quite the issue since coming on, just heads it over the bar and wide. As Jakub Kivior will be replacing Arsenal's number 11, Gabriel Martinelli, the man who scored the first goal of the game on his Champions League debut. Gabriel Martinelli scored, and he will come off being one of the goal scorers tonight in this Arsenal win. So Kivior comes on as Arsenal try and shut up shop here away in Seville. He'll join a back five, I'm sure, Kivior. So we've got 5 minutes left to play. It's an Arsenal goal kick. They still lead 2-1. The other game in the group is still 1-1, Lens and PSV. Goal kick up towards Nketiah. Loses out in the end. And the ball drops to Gudel, who's charging inside his own half. Try to get it into the Arsenal half as quickly as possible. Goes into the centre circle now. We'll pass to Samare, who's going out to the left side. And he finds Rakitic, who's again one of the deepest back here for Sevilla. Plays a ball forward to Ocampos, who's back out on the Sevilla left. Acuna plays a ball forward into Rakitic, who's made a run into the 18-yard box, just overhit. And it can be seen through by Gabriel and into the very, very grateful hands of David Raya in the 6-yard box. Trying to make a late run there, Ivan Rakitic, age 35. Looking for his 50th goal for Sevilla in his 94th Champions League appearance, Ivan Rakitic. Did get an assist in Sevilla's first game in the Champions League in their 1-1 draw against Lens for Ocampos. As Trossard now has it halfway inside the Sevilla half, but he's been dribbling all the way back towards the halfway line and then back forward again as he takes on Rakitic and shifts it away from Samare. Now Rice, that's the Arsenal right to Havertz. And then back into Jorginho. Finds Havertz again on the right-hand side, midway inside the Sevilla half. Back to Jorginho. He's going to find Kivior to the left. Then furthest left is Tomiyasu. In a left wing position here, the Japanese international. Tries to play ball inside towards Rice. It deflects towards Jorginho, who's been tackled fairly there by Eric Lamela. And he'll go out for a Sevilla throw-in. Last touch off Jorginho. And it'll be Juanlu Sanchez, the right back, to take the throw-in. 3 minutes to go. Sanchez gets the return from Rakitic from the throw-in. And Sevilla will push from the back with Ramos charging forward towards halfway. Plays it to the left there to Acuna. Goes back to Samare. To his right to Gudel. Rakitic. This plays on the edge of the box waiting for a delivery. He instead switches it back out to the left here to Acuna. In it goes. Helped on. Volleyed away by Tomiyasu. It'll be recycled now by Gudel. Forward to Rakitic. Goes across and backwards to Gudel. Goes to his left to Samare. Sevilla find it hard to get through this green wall that Arsenal have set up. Gudel again. Being pressed here by Nketiah. He wants more movement on the right-hand side. So he's been shifted out to the left to Samare. Now out to the right to Rakitic. Finds Sanchez, the right back, who's got forward in the final third. Again, takes on his left foot. Delivery in! Parried by Raya and over the bar! Oh my word, how lucky can you get? He chopped inside Sanchez, put the cross in with his left foot, and Raya came for it and punched it. Not straight, he punched it backwards and it nearly looped into the back of the net, but it hit the roof instead. Oh, it was David Raya. So lucky. Ball in from Rakitic. Headed away to the edge of the box. The keeper came for it. Acuna strikes from afar off Declan Rice. And it'll deflect out to Nketiah on the left-hand side. Can he have the pace on Sanchez? No, he doesn't, and he commits the foul on Sanchez. And free kick's been taken quickly. Rakitic to Ocampos. On the Sevilla right, gets it through into the gap for Sanchez. He needs to get it in the box here. Just over a minute to go. Sanchez in the final third. There's been plenty of players in there. Tries to go towards the byline with a ball towards Ocampos. Cut out by Rice. Cleared down the Arsenal left. Recaptured for Sevilla by Acuna. A minute to go. As Acuna sends a heavy ball in, and it will go right into the hands of David Raya. And that is one way to kill momentum and maybe guarantee Arsenal the 3 points, which they've had to work for. But Raya came for it with the punch, and I don't know if you can slice it with your hand, but he has almost sliced it. He's gone through it, but it's gone backwards off his knuckle and onto the roof of the net. Very fortunate there for David Raya, who will not be keeping a 5th clean sheet in his Arsenal career, as the Arsenal clearance has been won back by Samare, then played into the Arsenal half, brought down by Saliba, knocked out to Ben White. So calm and composed, and so's Jorginho. Nice ball out to Havertz on the right. 15 seconds to go, through in behind now for Nketiah, who will aim for the corner flag on the far side. He'll be met by Acuna, who's going in strong. Ramos has also come in, and they win the throw-in. Sevilla throwing right next to the corner flag. We've played the 6 minutes. I don't think we'll get much more now. Should get the whistle. Thrown by Acuna down the line. Looking for Mariano Diaz. Nodded out of play. Nope. Kept in by Mariano Diaz off the header from Saliba. Headed away by Kivior. Helped on by Ben White. Brought down by Rakitic on halfway. Left-footed switch out to the right-hand side. And Ocampos will get there. Bring it down in the box. Ocampos! Oh, he swings it wide. And that will be that. It's a huge slice. And the referee will blow his whistle there. It was one last chance. It was a great ball from Rakitic. It was a good touch into his path as well. But on his right foot, Ocampos off balance. Just slices it well wide. And that will be that. The travelling Arsenal supporters celebrate as they gain their first 3 points in this season's Champions League away from home. They lost last time out to Lens 2-1. This time they win 2-1, and they now sit pretty at the top of their table. Because I do believe Lens and PSV, the other game in their group, the other game in their group finished 1-1. So Arsenal are top with 6 points, Lens in second with 5 points, and a bit of a gap now for Arsenal between first and third, as Sevilla and PSV are in third and fourth. They're both on 2 points. But that's a much better second half. First half was quite boring, lack of chances. Martinelli did score his goal right before half-time. Jesus midway inside his own half. Cruyff turned past 2 Sevilla players, played Martinelli through and behind. He rounded the goalkeeper and scored. And right after half-time as well, in the 53rd minute, Jesus again working his magic. Got the ball on the left-hand side, cut in from the byline on the angle, got his body right around the ball and put it to the top right corner. Beautiful goal. If you've not seen the goals, get the highlights as soon as you can. But that lead from 2 was cut in half. 5 minutes later, Nemanja Gudel from the corner at the near post headed into the bottom right corner, and it made Arsenal work for the 3 points. And there was no goals in the game and from then till full time, but there was chances, but none were taken from Sevilla, and Arsenal can travel back home on the just under 3-hour flight back to London. Very, very happy supporters. Good game that. Good second half especially. First half was a little bit, both teams I think just getting into the flow of the game. The second half was much better. A lot better chances for both sides. Drama at the end. Somehow Sevilla didn't nick an equaliser, but Arsenal will be delighted with that as they take 3 points. And it looks like now, with the fact that third and fourth place, Sevilla and PSV are on 2 points and Arsenal are on 6. It just gives them a bit of breathing space for qualification into the knockout rounds. But we'll wait and see. There's still 3 games left to play. But tonight, away at the Europa League champions, or the reigning champions, they have seen through a 2-1 victory. Very well done. And congratulations to Arsenal and Mikel Arteta. Great commentary. Cheers, mate. Thank you very much. Next commentary is Thursday. We are coming in with the commentaries hot this week. We've already commentated on Sunday night, AC Milan Juventus. That was 1-0 to Juventus. And then we've now commentated on Tuesday night. This game, Sevilla Arsenal. But then Thursday, we've got Brighton against managerless, currently, Ajax, who sits 17th out of 18 in the Eredivisie. So big game for Brighton, who were on a bit of a sticky patch themselves. Not won in the last 5, I believe. Brighton have only got 1 win in their last 5, something like that. So we've got Brighton Ajax on Thursday night, 8 o'clock, and then we're back Monday night as well with Coventry welcoming the visit of West Brom. So we've got some big commentaries coming up, and then also next Wednesday, so in 8 days' time, we'll be covering Manchester United against Newcastle in the League Cup 4th round. So loads of commentaries coming up in the next week and a half. So make sure you have subscribed with notifications on so you know when I'm live and you know when those commentaries have started. But for tonight, that's going to be the end of the live commentary. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you join us as well on Thursday night as Arsenal are back in the Champions League with their first away win, back in the competition at Sevilla, current reigning Europa League champions. They had to huff and puff, but they were able to get home with the 2-1 victory. Goals from Martinelli on his Champions League debut, and another for Jesus, who's also provided the assist. Bit of a scare at the end, having to defend a 1-goal lead, but they got there in the end. And at the end of tonight, in Seville, Arsenal lead, and they win. Sevilla 1, Arsenal 2.